and I will let you introduce the players here on step ECL
Alright, I'm just
semi-finals.
perfect then. Game is started. There we go. So just making sure everything's working. There we go. So I welcome you all. Demo is Red here, and I'm being joined by Nilly himself. And this is the first game that we're gonna start today. And it's gonna be Suomi versus BzK, the Max Vilesa, Miguelzin, Riet. And I'm just gonna start on the bottom left-hand side with Miguelzin over here. And there he is with the Mongols. Placement wise, he's just chosen, well, just the direct position when which he spawned. Just place the TC right there. To the top, we got his teammate in the yellow color, that's Riet. Definitely better TC placement there, right away pointing out that he's close to the stone and the berries. Also gold close by. Looking fine, boars there as well. I like that one. On the right hand side, top right hand side, we got the Max in, of course, his favorite color, the standard color of his teal. And he's placed his TC at least to the berries there, and some gold to the back. That's of course good. And last but not least, we got Vilesa here in the south in green color with the Chinese. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that. What do you think about the positions?
Everyone just placing their TC as fast as possible, not really
Mm,
taking too much care. It feels like Riot, as you mentioned, has the best TC with the safe stones, safe berries here. And people, for example, like Felice, need to walk a bit further to the back. I like that Miguel is somewhat in the open and already going for hunt, abusing that Mongols bonus.
yeah, that's that. So also the civilizations are quite important because we got a set civilization pool. You got to choose some of them. And that being said, Mongols, of course, on this map, quite a great choice. And why is that? Because you got the deer. And that being said, also the boars, you got some great bonus, but also other civilizations could be quite of a favorable one. Chinese, for instance, so the teammate of Miguel Zanriet in this case, with the Chinese, great choice. And why is that? Because you can start the economy, the gameplay in the beginning better with more villagers.
Yeah, Chinese considered to be the strongest civilization of them all on this map. You, as you said, have more villagers, get the TC up a bit earlier, and afterwards have more villagers to instantly get some of those beautiful llamas. The big question is Mongols or Persians? What would you prefer here?
To be honest, I would choose Mongols. I regard them as a tiny bit more of a versatile civilization. You have more choices, and of course, on this map, I love to see how you can actually make use of the resources given, the food resources. Persians, to be honest, man, I'm not sure. What would you do? What kind of argument would you present in order to favor Persians on this kind of map?
Maybe just the argument, okay, Chinese, he's always going for archers, so we just
Hmm.
need a cavalry civilization. Persian is pretty good there. And also, we have to think this is a best of 5 series, so we have more maps to be played, and I'm expecting to see Mongols from the Finns in one of the later maps then.
Yeah, that could be true as well. So you also have to count this one in when to use which kind of civilization. It's a huge strategic thing. The first event taking place currently is Miguelzin, as expected, with Mongols clicking up the first. Decent timing there with 16 population there. Quite of a sick move, and most expected that he's going to go for some aggressive moves there. And then also the Max and Vilesa. Vilesa is going to be the second one clicking up there. He has a Chinese. So most expected, in my opinion, we could see how, yeah, Miguel Zin is going to go for it as soon as possible. Scouts, most likely.
Yeah, most likely. And he didn't even loom, so his uptiming even faster than expected. And well, lost his horse, not too important. Did get some small vision, should know where he, well, wants to send his first scouts out. Should be pretty fine here. And well, I'm expecting a lot of aggression from him. Belize should go archers. We're expecting Rio to go for archers as well. And most likely the Max with some scouts as well.
Yeah, I'm checking out the resources. Vilesa definitely going for some archers, 3 villages on gold. Quite of a classical approach, you would say. So the question then is if the Max is going to be efficient enough. He is not going to go up as fast as Migazin, as we can see. Migazin currently now placed his stable there, close to STC, producing 4 scouts for now. Also has produced a spearman, ready to take on the fight against any incoming scouts from the max in this case. Let's see how this will evolve. Definitely Migazin with the momentum here, in which he could maybe harass his opponents earlier.
Yeah, he will get some map vision for sure. Can maybe get to the deer of the max, who only has 2 villagers there at the front. Now moves a bit further to the right hand side. Miguel, I don't really like that he queued up 4 scouts instantly. Didn't really go for the eco upgrade here, but while farming will take some time, so I can see the reasoning. Let's take a look how well the max can avoid the potential threat of the scouts coming over.
Yeah, you said something really important there. Most importantly, the scouts from Migazin now making sure that he has map vision and to a certain degree also the map control for now in the middle, because now Migazin has moved forward with his set of villagers in order to place another mill and gets his hands on more of the deer, therefore. But now he's moved forward. He's going to the mill of the Max, that is, but the Max has placed a clever spearman there. He's not going to be able to get his hands on the villagers yet. He needs more scouts for that one, or utilize his spearman. There we go, slowly but steadily approaching. Let's see how this will evolve from there.
I don't really see too much damage done. It's 2 spearmen from the max. Yeah, he's not taking the best fight there against the other spearmen and Taos, but the numbers are just way too good. And look at that! Release, he even feels confident enough to move out further. So Miguel at the moment with the aggression, but can't get the kills.
Yeah, that's that. He's actually moving forward like that. He has 3 archers without fletching, but he feels confident enough with the present spearman there. He also has 2 spearmen of his own, but has lost a villager there, so that's quite unfortunate. Quite brave of him to go forward like this. He has sacrificed a villager for that one. I'm not sure if I like this move. He could have maybe waited a few more seconds. He decided not to, but now that's the current situation. Miguel's with a significant amount of scouts there. He could strike at any point of time for now.
Yeah, and he buys a lot of time here for Rio. That kind of reminds me of the secret play, where we had the Viper going up with the scouts very early on, Dowd sitting back,
Right.
and then he had Fletching earlier as well, and could really dominate the game there. And well, I'm expecting nothing less here from Riot.
Yeah, that could definitely be. Miguelson is buying some time there and enough time for Rietz to actually go forward now. He has a decent set of archers, as you said, with fletching. He could be able to engage. Now we could maybe see a 2v2 event taking place here, but for now it is Rietz coming close to the scouts of the Max. And he has a villager, I was going to say a spearman there, Rietz, but for now not really engaging. He's waiting to team up with Miguelson, and now they're approaching. Also, Vilesa and the Max now on the right spot, ready to engage in a 2v2.
Oh yeah, but it's still fletching against no fletching, and that's such a big difference in those scenarios. Miguel, while he just is guarding Rio, who is the main damage dealer at the moment, I think they have a window where they could just attack through the center. Why are they going back? I think they're missing a crucial timing here where they could have done major damage.
Yeah, that's that. You're absolutely correct. Without any fletching, Vilesa is in a clear disadvantage. I would not say that they're not aware of this, but they have some kind of argument saying no, it's not the right time. Maybe they just want to be really cautious not to yeah, go for some risky moves, especially because Rietz, as you can see, is reinforcing a lot with more archers now. Maybe now they say, okay, now we have bigger chances to actually succeed in a new situation, but this is also enough time for Vilas actually to get fletching. He still doesn't have it though. Riet instead goes for paired archer armor. He has the stronger archers for sure.
I believe he has the blacksmith. Did he maybe forget about the upgrade? I'm really shocked that we still don't see it. He even did horse color, an upgrade that is not that important if you're going for archers, and they need to defend. And BzK, they're in a sweet position in between both opponents, but not doing enough damage, and that's why the max is going over for some counterattacks.
That's exactly correct. That the Max is going for some counter raid. He feels that he has some freedom there, and as you can see, is closely coming to the. Oh no, he's not. I was going to say that he maybe gets his hands on the villagers on the berries there, but instead now he takes on the fight against a single scout of Migazon, and now proceeds to go somewhere else. And where is that? He tries to probably encircle the base of Migazon here, but he will then afterwards spot the palisade walls. So he's best advised to actually move away from there to actually do something, because at the same time, as you said, it's BzK is also on the way to go for some action, though they will face the walls of the Max double palisades, so he's kind of safe for now.
Yeah, and he wasn't safe for quite some time, but well, walls in the last second there for sure. And Watchtower defensively now to be really well enforced. And Belize is now coming over. It still feels like BzK with all the aggression. Let's maybe take a quick look at the resources. 200 food for the Max, 200 food for Belize, 200 food for Miguel, and Riot with 500 food. So Riot will be the first. The rest of them will reach Castle Age. Pretty similar.
Yeah, true. I'm happy at least Vilesa has now gotten his hands on fletching there, so he is actually able to engage now. We maybe have a situation like this right now taking place. The Max is chasing the scouts of Miguel, but now it's not happening anymore. Miguelzen is kind of retreating, but it's also not really much. He's just moving back and forth, back and forth. He tries to actually spot a good moment to strike. Instead, it is the Max now engaging, taking on the fight against a couple of archers, but not too many things have happened. And as you said it, Riot is going to click up the first, just a few seconds left until he does so. But maybe there's going to be an engagement in front of his base, so this could be quite crucial concerning the outcome. If Max and Vilesa are successful, they could maybe pressure him a further bit more. But let's see how this is going to evolve, because they're just moving and moving, but not engaging.
Yeah, well, for now they can buy themselves some time. They know that Miguel should be up to Castle Age a bit quicker as well, since he saved 300 food for upgrades that Maxed it has, +1/+1 on those. Numbers actually are pretty even. That means the defender should have more army at the actual battlefield. And the Max is even faster up than Miguel. How does that work? Okay, pretty similar timing, but impressive game by our Persian.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, that's some impressive gameplay, but as expected from the Max, some kind of person that is actually able to pull off something like this. Not too surprised, even though it's quite impressive, we gotta say. Miguelzen is clicked up as well as you said it, and also Vilesa now. So there's not a huge difference, but it is still Riot with a significant advantage here. Time-wise, he's going to be able to actually go for crossbows and botgun arrow quite soon. It's going to mean that he has the opportunity to create a window of opportunity to strike, but I would say that the Max and Vilesa best advice to retreat for now, just to make sure that Riot is not able to engage and have a huge advantage.
Yeah, for now, not a lot of engaging happening. KD very small. We saw like 14 units go down the whole game, and funnily enough, BzK managed to get a full team wall off, something we don't see too often, and therefore they are kind of safe and are now going for the engagement against the Max, who's still sitting behind, well, somewhat double wall, at least house wall. That's why they camped Belize, who was a bit more open. Let's take a look if BzK can use the timing.
Yeah, now that the Max is in the next stage as well, he could be able to defend properly. He is currently placing a second stable as expected with the Persians, but he should maybe even think of a siege workshop, but instead he goes for the TC. Actually, a wise decision on the right hand side of his base there for the Max. So he's just going to make sure that the gold and the wood line is kind of protected. But nevertheless, the first stable of the Max is going down. A lot of pressure here from the crossbowmen and the scouts. There's a gap now, I believe, or is it a gap really? A couple of villagers are dying as well. The scouts are able to actually go through, but they don't. They want to play it a bit more safely now that the Max is in the next stage. So at least a bit of pressure, but also enough time for the Max and Vilesa to come close and to actually engage. Because then, as you can see, he has the light cavalry now, so he could be actually also be able to make the difference. For now, though, they're retreating once again.
Kind of weird, right? How they're always doing like minimal damage, killing
Yeah.
a mill early on, now killing a stable, and then retreating. Well, maybe just waiting for ballistics and then engaging, but Belize, he's not too far behind in the ballistic timing there. Well, 1 minute, but it just feels like Belize, they might disengage, and maybe once both have +2 defense and ballistics, we might finally see our big engagement that we've been waiting for the last kind of 15 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. It could definitely happen. I would really hope so. The Max is prepared. He has his knights with bloodlines and plus defense. That could be quite of a sick one, especially if he gets his hands on the enemy crossbows. But once again, BzK attempts to attack from the left-hand side of the Max's base, forcing Vilesa and the Max to move forward once again. Or what are they doing? Currently just waiting. There we go. They're raising the palisades. They want to take on the fight inside of the base if it happens. If BzK is determined to go inside of that base. Again, another stable is going down. Now it's the time for them to decide. Are they going to go inside or not? But they're not doing it. Once again, they're moving back.
Now they're switching target actually. Now going for Belize, who's just building a TC outside here. Could maybe get in some troubles. Well, they're still 1.5 screens away. Belize scouts that, and the big thing in those scenarios where we don't see a lot of fighting and more like army maneuvering is who macros best in the back, and it looks like the max 58 villagers is doing the best, but Belize slightly behind. Well, maybe Rito's now finally getting caught off guard.
Yeah, definitely. He's just in the middle, suffering from the fact that his crossbows are not as dynamic as cavalry units, obviously. They tried to shift the focus here, but Vilesa was smart enough to quick wall with houses. He's been able to place the TC over there, quite crucial. But now they are forced to engage here, and doesn't look too good for BzK, I would say, because they're currently moving away. Riot has lost a decent amount of crossbowmen. Therefore, Vilesa did a great job here. The Max also makes sure that the army of Vilesa is kind of protected. That being said, BzK once again moving back, and this time in order to reinforce, they need to maximize the numbers once again to strike back in a better way.
But how?
Yeah.
I think
But
it's
how?
just, well, they have all the upgrades, added a third archer range, something we can't say from Belize just yet, who is only at 2 TCs, so he will fall behind Nico, and wow, Riot. I just thought about, like, let's check resources, but I thought we were way far away from ever clicking up to him, but, well, Riot, 55 military, and now they're just waiting for Arbalest and Bracer, so it feels like finally the timer on the side of the Finns. They need to do damage pretty soon.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, once we see Arbalest with Bracer and Chemistry, it could be quite sick, the damage output of Riot then. Interesting move that they always try to pressure, then go back, just in order to become stronger. Another tech is kicking in, and then in this case, Imperial Age is going to kick in very soon on Arbalest and Bracer. So this could be quite of a great situation for Riot, unless he sacrifices his crossbowman like this, which we can see at this point. Vilesa is getting a lot of free kills here. Quite unfortunate, unnecessary move here by Riot, was some mismaneuver, so to speak. He tries to compensate the situation by adding another archer range, as you can see there in front of his base. Fine, let's see how this is going to evolve. Riot is going to go for some huge aggression here for sure very soon. And let's see how this is going to evolve.
Well, he wants to, well, camp out a bit more. The Max is now going for some aggression, and people in the chat were asking why is Finland not engaging here with a +2 attack from the Persian Knights against the archers.
Yeah.
Well, how engagements work is simply Knights fight against Knights and crossbowmen are standing in the back, so getting the damage done against the crossbowmen is actually not the most likely scenario, and that's why we see the Max, he wants to wait for his upgrade as well. Release up to him, and well, it seems like Miguel will be the latest, and we thought Finland was on a timer, but maybe in 2-3 minutes it might be Brazil.
Yeah, true. As you can see, it's currently happening. The Max and Vilesa both are going for the next stage, and I also like the move that actually the Max has chosen to go for the Mangonel, just in case there was another engagement. The Mangonel could have maybe forced the crossbow army to retreat now. But soon we can forget about the term of crossbows. They're going to turn into Arbalists with Bracer very soon, as well as Chemistry is going to kick in very soon. So there's the momentum that could arise from that one. As long as the Max and Vilesa are not on the next stage, there's this huge window of opportunity in which we can see now, from left to right, this huge movement here. Both of the armies, the yellow and red, are going to the right-hand side. And this means that Vilesa needs to retreat. The Max is trying to come for some help because we see some definite engagement here. Mangonel has been taken down, and now it's time. It's happening.
Yeah, Abel is now finally moving in. They will take the big engagement. Belize is trying to fall back a bit more, but Miguel did get a nice engagement, is pulling all his knights in front of the crossbowmen, and that's a beautiful engagement. Miguel making the best use of all his units. Belize is dropping down heavily in his counts. The max couldn't really help out enough as well, and it just feels like BzK, they're in a beautiful position now. Look at the military advantage now. That's roughly 30-40 more, and it's just looking really tricky for Belize to save any of his crossbows.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially as if mentioned, the military count quite crucial here. 68 military for Riyadh in comparison to the max, for instance, 23, or in comparison to Vilesa, most importantly, 30, and it's decreasing here. Vilesa currently has a really tough time. He's currently losing all of his army. And after that one, a lot of villagers are dying as well. Some castles even going up here in the woodline of Vilesa's base there to the south. But I guess this is pretty much grim situation for Vilesa to get out of the situation. Lost a lot of villagers, and military-wise not going to be able to actually get out of the situation unless the max comes for some help. He does so, but the army doesn't look too convincing here. Let's see. I mean, I see little chances for Vilesa to get out of the situation.
Well, Belize actually realized, okay, I lost all my crossbowmen. Let's cancel Imp. And he did sling all his resources just shortly before losing all his army. And the max, he is working with all the resources now for a solid minute. Did add some more stables and will go for maybe even paladins pretty soon. Maybe then he can make something happen. And now we get into the situation where the Cavaliers could fight off against the Arbalist. Thing is, Miguel, does he maybe need to switch into camels now? I would say yes, and he's producing them, so nice adjustment to the situation.
I think so as well. I mean, great emergency plan of Vilesa and the max to actually sling the resources now. We see some quick Cavaliers, +4 defense. Paladins very soon going to happen as well. Therefore, both Miguelzen and Riyadh's anticipating it correctly here. Camels, great choice. Curious to see how this is going to evolve, because now the max has quite of a frightening army with that kind of boost of resources. Just the question is going to be how to engage, where to engage. Still, because the army of their opponents, BzK, 26 to 72, a lot of military, and just 34 paladins. Not really sure if they can just be utilized in any kind of way. It must be done really smart. But let's see how, because Riyadh is also going forward once again, and maybe tries to pressure the max.
Yeah, and also switching onto halberdiers now as well. They read into that situation pretty nicely, realizing, okay, we did a lot of damage against the Chinese players. Persian player only has the option to go for paladins. Let's prepare for that. And, well, as you said, military numbers just brutally in favor here for BzK.
That's that pretty much. I mean, any kind of wrong move by the max and he could lose his entire army, or any kind of wrong usage. Let's see, because he's currently now going for some castle denial, question mark, talking about the max and his cavaliers still, but it's not going to work too much in his favor. There are camels and halberdiers. At the same time, Riyadh is going forward still, try to pressure the max's base. It looks quite okay. Inside of his stables though, the max has quite a couple of cavaliers still parked. He's going to be able to maybe pressure. There we go. The paladins are now coming closer. The arbors are best advised to actually go close to the bot line to take less damage. But all in all, I'm not sure if this is going to make the difference for the Finnish players, because after that one, the max could lose quite a huge army here, and not sure if he's going to be able to just come back out of this. Still talking about the max, because now the camels are inside as well. Doesn't look too good, does it?
I think this was the GG fight. The max didn't really get the wraparound against all the Abeles. Now we have heavy camel out for Miguel, and it will be pretty much impossible to take any great engagements here from max. He sees mass halberdier, he sees mass camels. He knows he does not have any more options.
There we go. It's GG as expected. Still nice move by the Max and Vilesa, this emergency plan. It wasn't enough. The numbers of military, most importantly, important. And also the smart shift, anticipating paladins. It makes sense. Persians, paladins. All right. So we go for halberdiers, but especially also heavy camels, and it has worked.
Yeah, that was only the adjustment to not lose this game. I think the big move before that was really that Miguel did catch the Lees off guard there shortly before Imperial Age. They had Arbalest, they knew, okay, this is our timing to push, and Miguel just not randomly, but very aggressively went for it, did catch the Lees, and, well, they did get so many crossmen kills that it kind of GG'd the game.
Yeah, absolutely correct, I would say. Good one.
Let's take a look at the achievements.
All right, so just looking at the military stats here now, units killed as expected, Riots. Quite some good numbers here, 98 to 56. A lot of important kills. As you said, it's the move against Vilesa was quite a crucial one before Imp. Vilesa, as you can see, has lost most of the units, also quite revealing what has happened there. I mean, he was the one going for the ranged units. He had big numbers, but he lost also big numbers. So that was a crucial one for sure. Largest army for Riot.
And well, looking at the economy, Rio had more gold there as well. And it really reminded me of the game of Team Secret that we saw last week, where the Mongol
Mm,
player had all the aggression, the Chinese player, untouched, could go for his big boom, reach him first, and really dominate the game with great map awareness and macro behind that.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Just timing wise, the technology stats, as expected, the Mongols guy, you said as well. The Mongols, they do all of the work, as in keep the enemies busy so the other guy can just do whatever he plans to do. It has worked in this case. So good stuff here from BzK so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And whew, this was an intense one, and so many
Yeah.
people hoping to see Finland go pretty far here. But I talked to Fire before the series started, and he said we are sending in Riot and Miguel. That's our strongest lineup.
All right. Okay, if he says so. I mean, I'd say Miguel definitely extremely strong team player. I mean, he has the usual reputation. He also has a lot of potential. Um, but yeah, some people were saying, all right, what about Dogao? Is he going to be able to participate or not? But in this case, we now have Riyad and Miguel. I'd say it's actually could be working. I mean, the idea I understand. It's just a question about the coordination and also the decisions. I can understand this decision actually so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone played pretty damn well, and kind of cautious. Then, well, maybe getting caught off guard at one point. And
Hmm.
now I'm looking forward to Mongolia, which isn't as Mongolia-like as it used to be. Now it's way more open, and old Mongolia, you kind of wanted to team wall.
Mm-hmm.
Boomy civilizations were pretty strong. This one is more like Arabia nowadays.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe not that much of a wrong thing because walling always drags the game in a way that it's nothing much happens in the beginning. But as you can see, now the game has started. There we are. I hope you're in as well. So I just
Yes.
go ahead here and say welcome, welcome all. It's game number 2. Demaz Red here, being joined by Nili, of course. And it's gonna be Miguel Zin here in the southeast of the map, red color with the Mayans. And that map is quite of a compact one. Woodline's fine. Resource to the front, though, something to keep in mind. The gold, especially, quite in an interesting position, not too much of a beautiful one. His teammate is on the left-hand side in the yellow color. That's Riyadh with the Indians. Solid civilization there as well. The map is actually also interesting in a way that he has the woodline to the back, berries to the side or back, some more resources to the front, the goals especially, but some cliffs are positioned in a way that he could maybe pull off a wall, you would say, but we'll find out about this one. For now, though, also going ahead here because there's also some other stuff happening on the right-hand side. As you can see, Miguel Zun went for some lame here, and the Max actually tried to stop this one, goes for the counter lame, and he does so. So in both cases, it seems to work. The Max base is on the top right-hand side with the Huns. Both stones to the back, also quite of an open map. Goal to the front. That's pretty much it about that one. And Vilesa, last but not least, on the left-hand side, top left-hand side with the Mayans. And this space is also, well, it's close to the edge of the map. Can be walled in a way that he's kind of protected, but no immediate resources that could be walled in the way that he could protect them. But let's see how they will go for some kind of protection. For now, though, the first action was the boar steel on the right hand side for both pairs.
Yeah, and left hand side, Belize was stealing 2 sheep as well, and the boar, so
Yeah.
good start for him. Riot, he needs to make something happen, and well, already needs to start walling. Mayans against Mayans and Indians Huns. So, well, Castle Age composition could be quite interesting. We see Crossbowman Knight against Crossbowman Indian Camel. Who do you think has the upper hand here?
I don't like this one too much, to be honest. I mean, with the Indians, that's such a nice move that you can actually deal with the knights. Of course, you could then say maybe you're a bit more vulnerable when it comes to engagements, which you can see also some ranged units as crossbows. But we're talking about Indians here. They start with the additional pierce armor first of all, right? So that's one bonus that they have, strong bonus in this kind of constellation. Therefore, I think I would definitely choose Mayans and Indians over Mayans and Huns in this constellation. I'm not sure about you, but this is what I would go for.
Oh, it's kind of tricky, right? Once
Oh.
you get up to late imp, Imperial Camels are obviously better than Paladins. Tarkans might be better than
Mm.
anything against the Plumes, though. And, well, I honestly don't have a good answer. Camels are good against Knights, but weaker against the Crossmen and Plumes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how this plays out.
Yeah, it could happen in either way, but if it happens just the classical way, I would then sense if the knights. I mean, you said it in the previous game, right? Normally it's crossbows versus crossbows, knights versus knights. In this case, knights versus camels. Then on paper, I'd say, okay, it's definitely the camels, but we'll find out. But also something really important that you've mentioned: this is not the kind of classical Mongolia that we have. This is way more open, so we can expect some more engagements happening early on, especially also in the early castle age. Maybe we see this kind of 2v2 clash here happening once again. And then I would say maybe the camels will do the difference. We'll see. It's going to be about the maneuvers once again, just like in the last game, most likely.
Yeah, let's talk about the strategies that are happening for now because we will see Miguel with the drush. Veliz, he is going for the late drush as well, and well, we're expecting Huns and Indians to go for scouts, but oh well, Miguel, he's sending someone. Oh, not Miguel. The Max is sending someone gold as well. That would be Men at Arms at the right hand side.
Just checking it out as well. Currently it just has a single villager on gold, but probably you could add a mining camp there as well. We'll see for sure. But for now, as you said it, the interesting thing, we see some drushes happening. Why is that? Because we got some compact maps, especially for Miguel and Vilesa. They're just feeling so confident that they say, okay, we can wall this one off. We can play it a bit more safely. We'll buy some time with our drush, and then we'll see. But as you've also said it, Vilesa was quite late with this barracks and the production of the militia. So maybe it looks like a rather defensive move of him. We'll see. But for now, most importantly, on the right hand side, Miguelsen is now inside of the base. And indeed, we see some mining camp there, 3 villagers on gold, interestingly. Curious to see how this is going to evolve. But for now, Miguelsen able to pressure the max a bit.
Kind of weird to see Hunt player go from Man at Arm into Archers against the
Hmm.
main player, but makes sense if the main player is trying to play Drush FC because then you can pressure him quite nicely. The Max only at 3 HP with his scout here. He needs to go for some aggression, and I don't think that Miguel will have the easiest task to hold that big front line.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree. So 3 villagers on gold, so it's gonna be made arms into archers, and that from the Huns. I mean, Huns are one of the most versatile. Alright, it can happen, but this is the smartest move. We'll see. But what we see as well is the Max is also going to the front with a set of villagers, now catching the army of Migazin, but they're both ignoring each other. The villagers are going forward. There are 4 villagers. You would then expect, alright, towers are going up, so probably not an archery range, but just tower. Because he is now spot that Migazin is walled off, just go for some aggression like this. It could work. Still curious to see how this is going to evolve on the left hand side. Just for the information, Vilesa is indeed going for some fast castle here, and Rietz is busy with his scouts dealing with the drush of Vilesa here at this point.
Yeah, and look at how many scouts he already built to defend this Drush at the front. How many farms he already built? He built the 4 scouts. They're not even too far away from ever finishing a team wall, but what is a team wall worth if men at arms are already at the goal tip from Miguel? Villagers are now moving in, only 2 militia to defend this. Well, he even checked for men at arms as well, so Miguel changed his strategy.
That's sad, but the Max is not able to build the second tower, so to speak. He needs to reposition it on the right-hand side just to deny the goals. He kept his man-at-arms alive, but the scout died, low HP scout, and Migazin is not happy with the situation. He tries to deny this tower, and it looks quite good. And therefore, Max is now being pushed away. Not sure if he's just going to completely give up, but Migazin determined to actually make the stop. A villager has died from the Max, and now curious to see if he wants to fully retreat, but no, it doesn't look like it. He wants to come back. He wants to position another tower as soon as possible, just to make sure that he has some kind of impact, a negative impact on Migazin's base. Not sure though how this is going to evolve.
Well, it seems like he doesn't have the damage output, right? He isn't getting any man-at-arm reinforcements from home. Now it's 4 men-at-arms against 3, and it just feels Miguel. He will hold this quite easily. The Max, this forward has been stopped for sure. Problem is on the other side, Velise, he played his beautiful Drush FC already up to Castle Age, and those crossbowmen, they should do major damage. Probably not at Riot's base, but, well, Miguel is still open.
Yeah, that's that. Just sad to see how Riot was actually quite, well, not really profitable with his scouts there. Now that they face the palisade walls of Vilesa here, it kind of failed on that concern. He's been able to deal with the Drush eventually. That's good. But as you said it, Vilesa on the way to Castle Age, the crossbows are going to be able to deal some heavy damage. Question is where to go. Miguel Zin could be targets, but still takes a few more minutes until he is there. He needs to move his crossbows until he's there. It could be that Migazin finds some way to actually close the gaps, to control the situation overall. I mean, it looks quite good. He has been able to push the Max away here. He takes care of the first tower of the Max currently in front of the second gold. Looks quite decent. And now Riot does something clever here, and it's quite important. He's shifting the focus of his scouts, not on Viles anymore, but on the Max. But the Max also has prepared himself with a defensive tower, and maybe he's going to be able to kill a villager of the Max here, speaking of Riots. But yeah, it seems like it's maybe a villager.
Seems like it. The tower. Oh god, but Villager was trapped there quite nicely. And well, just going back with his scouts. Riot, he kind of finished the team wall. Miguel is now stonewalling the front as well. There's a small timing where the crossbowmen could do some damage, but it feels like they might not get in. Miguel, he realizes, okay, it's pretty dicey here at the front. Let's quickly wall. Even pulls 5 villagers to wall this off.
Yeah, that's that. Just something that I've seen, and I'm kind of surprised. Not sure what you think of it. I just saw how the Max built the markets and slung some resources for Vilesa. And I don't know, slinging, okay, it can happen. It's a thing in this game, fine. But in an open map like this, I'm not sure how healthy this is from the Max to actually pull this one off, especially because he's being annoyed by some scouts there. Yeah, it's definitely going to be some slinging here from the Max. It's of course really good for Vilesa here. He's currently trying to go inside of the base, but as you said it, Migazin is able to wall himself up now, so the crossbows need to find another spot to strike at. It doesn't look too much of a promising situation. Curious to see how Vilesa is now going to profit from the slinging of the Max. Really not sure.
His map is indeed pretty open, and towers, well, as you said, will be really tricky. I don't really think that he will ever be safe, and now we could maybe see some stables from Riot. He is only at 1 stable at the moment, not even queuing up any camels so far. He's building the market, is building 1 extra town center, and well, lots of army won't be around. It all comes down to keeping the walls up, and maybe they're out booming 2v1 Castle Age players, those BzK guys.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I mean, especially if you now have the comfort of stone walls, you can maybe just go for the boom and just become stronger than the single guy being, yeah, some kind of mutation of the slinging, so to speak. Talking about Vilesa here, we'll see. For now, though, Miguelzen is going for the next stage finally, and Riyad is already there. Question now is what to do. We can see Riyad is placing a second TC, a third TC that is, and most likely we'll see the same from Miguelzen. Then the question is how long will they be able to hold on here? Villes is maybe then gonna feel triggered in a way that he's gonna play some siege workshops or go for the next stage as soon as possible. Just looking at Villes' resources here, oh, he has a lot of gold there, by the way. Curious to see what he wants to do with that one. If he tries to go for more military now, or if he just wants to go for the next stage. But he needs to do something in order to deal with the team wall and to actually apply some pressure. Otherwise, I feel that the slinging of the max not going to be the most useful one.
Well, I think you will just think about imping. The max now walling big time here to the left hand side. Still towers up, keeps his resources low. And yeah, as you said, he is kind of open, but it feels like Belize with his kind of clean Drush FC did put on some pressure on BzK. I think the next step should be imping, and then we should see some plumed arches.
Yeah, plumed archers, of course, will be quite strong. We've seen it in different various situations in which the mans were involved in 2v2s. That being said, yeah, it could be quite interesting. I mean, we got mans on both sides, and of course, Vilesa is going to be the one being up with with plumes first, most expected at least. That being said, still, if Vilesa tries to go for the base of his opponents, he still needs to find a solution against the walls. And for that one, I'm just curious how BzK wants to hold on, what Vilesa has to offer. But for now, the most important thing is Miguelzen is going for the next stage. And that
Yeah,
means that we're going to see him actually going for some kind of aggression question mark first. He's actually also building barracks there. So no plumes from him, interestingly. What do you think about this one?
well, he will just go Mass Eagles, and Mass Eagles would be so good against an open the max here. And yeah, I think this should be really, really good. Yeah, in the long run, plumed archers are a bit more cost efficient, and Belize will build an aggressive castle here to really put on the pressure. But Riot can war behind that, and meanwhile, the max, he should go down to like 20, 25 villages.
Yeah, that could definitely happen. Mass Eagles, it will happen very soon. More barracks are being placed, and with the help of Riot here, resource-wise, we're gonna see some Elite Eagle Warriors very soon. And that being said, Max just protecting himself with what? A couple of palisades to the left-hand side. Yeah, as you said it's gonna be a bloody, bloody event very soon.
And Riot Sling will be stronger since he has more villagers, since he is in Castle Age and can just keep up his eco. For now, it's kind of even with the Slang resources, very even. But, well, that will change pretty quickly. Simply having 20 more villagers and increasing.
That's that. So Vilesa also on the way to the next stage, and he is placing a forward castle here. And that being said, Riot could be in danger very soon. That being said, it's quite of a symmetric move here. Both slingers are in potential danger, so to speak, but I think that the situation for the Max is way more of a grim one. Though he's placing the stone walls, so if he hurries up, could be okay for him. Still, there are some gaps. Also, it's really about the question if the max is going to wall up as soon as possible. He's utilizing so many villagers currently, so it looks quite good for him now, better than before. But the Eagles are on the way, and it seems as if they are going to be able to go through? Question mark. Oh my!
Oh, the Max is trying to quick wall this. He has two villagers, now sends the third one, but the Eagles are in, and this will be super tricky. In the long run, we could also see some patterns opening those walls. Remember, it's only feudal age, it's only 900 HP. Sends one villager
Right.
around, tries to wall it off, and it is still not close, and this is going to be so ugly for the Max.
Yeah, that's that. So this opening is so crucial here. Actually, well done by the Max that he's been able to nearly wall everything up, but that's that. It has not worked. And the Eagles so fast are now inside the base of the Max, officially infested by the Eagle flood here. He's trying to pull off some really interesting quick walls, quick way gates. Sorry. Yeah, it has worked now. A couple of villagers are safe, but not gonna have an impact on the situation here. I mean, look at this. Max is not able to do anything here. He only has one TC. He is in field age. The TC is now in danger. We're talking about some Elite Eagles with +2 defense. Soon they will have +4 defense. And then I see no hope for this TC. and the remaining parts of the base of the max.
Yeah, and it could be all somewhat okay. Velise was doing a lot of damage against Riot, but well, he's still sitting behind one layer of Stonewall, has a TC behind this, so he is somewhat fine, at least for some more seconds. Cannonball some more behind this, at least that's what I'm hoping. It looks really good for our Brazilians.
Yeah, that's for sure. On the left-hand side, as you said, it's Vilesa is also still there. Tries to pull off something here. Tries to debate his opponent Riot with the betting ram, but something more important is happening on the right-hand side. The petard has blown up there, and the Eagles, the elite plumed archers, are they able to? No, they're not able to go through. And currently now trying to kill a couple of villagers of Riot who try to save the situation, but Riot smart enough to actually place the walls a bit further to left in order to evade the shots of the elite plumes. Therefore, it looks better. On the right-hand side, now back to Migazin. At least a couple of crossbows of Vilesta trying to annoy Migazin there. But the max, what does the max have now? 29 villagers.
Those crossmen aren't really annoying. Yeah, indeed, 29 here, and he's running to the left-hand side, tries to rebuild his TC, tries to get some more walls up, but look at that. Eldorado now on the way as well.
Yeah.
Soon, even the plumed archers won't have the greatest day.
Yeah, that's for sure. With +4 defense and 100 HP, it's going to be quite sick. And that being said, the max now not being too much of a force. And yeah, the question now is how fast Migazin is going to be with the pressure against Vilesa. There's still, I mean, Vilesa is now, has been walled up for a longer period of time. And just the question how soon Migazin is going to be able to go through there to apply some more pressure.
Yeah, and the big thing is, guys, don't be confused. The ego is actually better for the Finns at the moment. They have 100 villagers working without a sling, Miguel only 46, and then we have the 90 of Rio TNTs under some pressure. I think it's actually not looking too shabby for the Finns. I think this is still somewhat of an open game.
Yeah, it could definitely happen, especially with Vilesa still with the pressure on. It could happen. Could happen that he could take his hands on real space in a way that BzK won't have a good time. But at the same time, still, Migazin is once again pressuring the new TC of the max here. I'm not sure if the pressure of Migazin against the max is the most logical move here. Something against Vilesa could be also quite of a useful move from the point of view of BzK. Curious to see how Vilesa is going to build up the pressure. He is inside now.
But didn't really patrol in, just right-clicked a bit and took some losses here. The Eagles are scaring Miguel away. I really want to see some rams from Miguel as well. TC, as you said, might go down number 2 here. He has arson for himself as well, but one villager walling at the moment. The max in some problems. I think maybe gold control might be something we want to look at in the long run.
Yeah, that's for sure. Gold control and logically connected to the map control overall. I mean, the left-hand side pretty much taken over by Vilesa for now. Just the middle of the map on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, nothing too much is happening because the army of Migazin is just inside of the base of his opponents. But currently, Migazin, the majority of his army is dealing with the defense. And Vilesa, therefore, does a great job currently profiting from the fact that he's on the hill. Tries to keep his castle up. He's engaging in the trap war for now. And therefore, if Vilesa continues like this, he still has a decent position, as you said it. Could be quite of an open one for a longer period of time, especially because Migazin now is not able to pressure his opponents anymore.
Yeah, and it's suddenly 470 for Belize. Overall populations are somewhat even. Small advantage there for BzK. But remember, a lot of that population is kind of wasted into the taxes for the sling. So I don't mind the situation here for Belize. He has the hill, he has some traps out, and he will take fights quite cost efficiently here.
Yeah, true. This looks really decent here. Just curious how this situation here with the Eagles will evolve. With the hill, of course, quite a decent one. Currently, the Eagles are trying to pressure, but Viles is not really... I don't know, he's not scared. He's just completely engaging here. And looks quite decent. More and more Eagles are going down. The plumes are holding on. And it just adds up. Even though, asking myself, about the reinforcement rates. Comparing the military numbers for now is quite equal. Vilesa with 50 military, Miguel as well. We're talking about unique units from the castle versus the Eagles from the barracks, but especially with 3 castles, the reinforcement rate of Vilesa is also not to be underestimated. Though at the same time, Migazin is pushing forward now, it's a bit more.
Yeah, well, will the castle go down? I think it will, right? Against 2 traps, third one coming over, no real answer to that. And Miguel, he's fighting off all the traps, so that will be pressured down. And suddenly, populations aren't looking as good anymore. And plumed archer numbers, well, they just dwindled down to now 40. And the lower the numbers get, the better it is for the eagle player.
That's for sure, because the Eagle player is going to reinforce way better in this case. The castle is now down. The trebuchets, therefore, of Migazon being repositioned in order to take down the next castle. Though, for now, Vilesa has a little bit of momentum in order to strike back, to gain back control, you would say. But it's just a little one because the Eagles are there to protect the trebuchets. One trebuchet is down. The other trebuchets are still continuing with the siege here against the castle. The castle is about to go down, it seems. The Eagles are pressuring military numbers again, comparing again quite equal here. Vilesa does a great job by reinforcing. The numbers are still more than 40, but the castle is going to go down by the looks of it.
Yeah, and suddenly he's down to only 2 production facilities here back at home. And well, this one is pretty much in the open at the left hand side. So if traps move forward, he might even lose his second castle, and will be tough for him to keep up great numbers. Some plumed archers at the right hand side wanted to go for the raid, but Miguel stopped that as well. BzK, they might be going into that with a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, so by the looks of it, because Vilesa has now lost his 2 castles there. Here's another one to the left-hand side, of course. But it's not uphill, so it could be quite of an easier task for Migazin to deal with it. Though at the same time, Migazin is not really caring. I don't want to say caring, but he just thinks that there are other priorities for now. What he tries to do now, by the looks of it, is just pretty much reducing the numbers of military for Vilesa, step by step, because the plumed archers are in the open for now, and therefore the elite Eagle Warriors can just get their hands on them. But yeah, that's the current situation.
How to stop those traps? Not really producing any siege at the moment, needs to fall back, otherwise he would lose his plumed archers quite unfortunately, and the castle will go down. And then, well, we mentioned it several times, the production with the Eagles just so much easier than the one for plumes.
That's that. 34 military for Vilesa and 62 for Migazin. Quite revealing here. There are more castles still. Vilesa did a great job by building more castles, but the third one going down now was a quite of a sad event there. The Eagles have successfully taken over the control in the lower middle part of the left hand side, let's say, map wise. The plumed archers are regardless going forward once again. Interesting move of Vilesa. He tries to stop the push of Migazin, or at least tries to slow it down. The question is for how long and for what? Because Vilesa now is bound to the fact that he needs to produce small military with a lower amount of castles, and he's running out of time, and he's losing a lot of plumes here. I don't like this move here currently. He's now retreating. And another castle is going up. There we go. So Vilesa tries to reinforce more and more. Not sure though if this is gonna work well because yeah, it's just so many eagles. And it's GG.
Oh man, what a horrible patrol. And the Max, kind of with the weird forward there. Only 3 men-at-arms, not much to follow it up. Miguel with the beautiful defense. And then the Max switched into this big sling without any walls, was super open. It felt so weird to us from the start.
Yeah, it was quite weird from the beginning. Somehow just the max is opening, then the way to sling like this, the open map, the laid wall, all of these little things added up, resulting in a situation in which the max was a kind of weak slinging party of this game, in comparison to Reed, for instance. So many villages that he had in the end, some kind of sick move there with the sling. That being said, also the comparison then plumes versus eagles, yeah, the key then from the point of view of the eagle player is to get down the castles. It has all worked for BzK in this game, I guess.
Yeah, nice reaction for sure. And well, there was some pressure from the least, but a lot of stone walls not underreacting there quite nicely, and lovely play by BzK. Let's take a look at the statistics.
All right. So I just start with the military stats once again. There we go. Miguel Zinn, the Eagle player in this game. A lot of kills, most of the kills he got. Also a lot of units lost though. That's because he's fought against Vilesa for a long period of time. But the difference is in comparison to Vilesa, who also had the highest numbers of losses here, um, there were more units for Miguel Zinn to utilize to reinforce out of the barracks in comparison to the castles. Even though Vilesa had the largest army numbers, it was not a stable number. It went down quite quickly, not too low. It was stagnating at 50, let's say. But then even more castles went down, and therefore he couldn't just keep up the numbers.
Yeah, Miguel, he did have quite a weak eco going to him, but like only 45 villages or something. But the sling for Riot was so much better since he was castle age, since he had more villagers. And well, when they really produced army, it was Miguel with the better numbers. Belize had some eco behind it, but Plumed Archers kind of was forced into it because Riot and Miguel walled themselves up so nicely.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm just quickly also looking into the economy here. Riyadh, as expected, as he was an extremely strong slinger party here, with the most of the food and wood income, and also gold-wise, he did a great job. Interestingly, the max with most of the stone, but I assume that he spent most of it for the sling for Vilesa in order to for him to build more castles. But great job by Riyadh. Also, the slinging rate of his, just the most impressive one in this game.
Absolutely, and now I'm excited for game number 3. It will be on Twin Puddles. Quite an interesting map when it comes to team strategy choices.
Yeah, that's for sure. I gotta say, we got a little bit of water, and this little bit of water is quite crucial. Food income, and therefore the strats, the variety of strats is quite of a let's say important one. True.
Okay, and Twin Puddles is coming our way. Civilizations, well, we could see some Team War civilizations. Mongols, not really something that can contest water and is pretty strong on land. It's more of a tricky one, and I will give the ready, and then we will, yeah, see if Suomi can get the comeback or if BzK can maybe finish it out 3-0 here.
Yeah, man, looking forward for sure.
I gave my ready. Obviously, if you want to listen to this in Spanish, there's also a Spanish escape stream rolling, and might be waiting for them. No, jumping into game number 3. Suomi, they need 3 more wins in 3 maps if they don't want to fail in another semi-final here. ECL, East Asia 2v2 stage.
All right, so here we are. So welcome. Lemaz Red here together with Nili, and it's gonna be game number 3 here, BzK versus Suomi, and we got. Let's start with the Max here on the south west of the map with the Malians. Then his teammate Vilesa with the Japanese on the left hand side, really close here to the water. Then Migazan on the right hand side with the Huns. And last but not least, Riyadh with the Malians in the southeast, also close to the water.
Yeah, and how this maps work, as it said, we have water here, 2 pawns, and normally they could be contested, maybe both players could go for it, but this just feels pretty tricky. It feels like Belize and Riot kind of have the pawns for themselves, and Miguel and the Max not with a lot of chances to really access them unless they want to get really sneaky wolves around the map.
Yeah, that's that pretty much. I'm really not sure if the map generation like this, the position generation, especially, is normal in this way. In this case, we clearly have 2 parties being close to the water. But you said it. There's a potential that they could go for some sneaky vills, but there's a long way to go. Not sure if this is gonna happen or if they're just gonna play the safe game and just 2 pawns, just 1 pawn for each team. Could happen.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm really curious to see how this plays out. And we need to talk about civilization again. Malians for both, and then we have Belize playing Japanese. On the other side, Hans for Miguel.
Yeah, two different philosophies in my opinion. Malins, in this case, makes sense. It's a strong civilization, in a way versatile, and also able to profit from the fact that they save resources for dock placement, for instance, quite crucial. But then again, Hans, in my opinion, quite often striking choice here because, most importantly, I think their presence on land is way more of crucial one compared to the Japanese in this constellation. At least that's what I'm thinking. What about you?
I think Hans can do a bit more in water. Japanese should
Mm,
have the better eco. I'm at the moment really curious what the Max is doing with his villager. Kind of ran through the center of the
mm.
map. They should know where the pond is, so that might be a sneak behind Rio and get the dock up there behind. That could be like super sick. I've never seen a sneak like this before.
Yeah, especially with zero map information. It's just he's I assume just guessing, but just educatedly guessing here, and it's exactly what you said. What you said. It's just him going for the sneaky bill, surrounding his opponent, and it's definitely. I mean, I'm quite sure it's gonna be the dock.
It
Sick move.
has to be the dock, yeah. Oh man.
Cool.
Okay. So he will build a dock there as a spot where Riot will absolutely not suspect it, and yeah, you can see Belize. He's very active. Scouts the front. Miguel, he didn't send a sneaky villager. He will just play a normal land aggression. Although he's now sending a villager out, but I'm expecting that Belize will spot it.
Yeah, this could happen. Definitely the Max with the advantage here. Yeah, he now secures the villager like that. He's placing the dock here. Though, the scout of Riot is gonna see it? No, he's just moved back now. He was about to find out about this one, but for now he's not. So he could be maybe surprised there in a few seconds. And then on the other side, as you said, there's the huge chance that actually Migazan is gonna get caught here. Though the villager now just placing a barracks there. Interesting move.
Maybe it just goes for. Oh, yeah, that's no sneaky dog.
Mm.
That's a beautiful move by the Max for sure, who, looking at his HP, did steal a board that we completely missed. Sorry, guys.
That happens sometimes. What's also happening here, by the way, in Riot's base, maybe you spotted as well. The Max is just doing what he does in tournament games, and yeah, just some resources being denied for now by some quick palisades there by the Max. Oh, yeah.
Riot has zero idea about that, and that's going to be ugly. I think you only have 2 gold spots on this map, like at least close ones. And already walling off the front one means the second one could be tricky. Now he's sending 4 villagers out. That is only for the woodline though, and that will get tricky for Riot. He will be really exposed there at the front. And that also means if he cannot get into gold, he cannot contest his pond.
I was going to say, because that's that. That's pretty much the idea of the Max. Of course, he always wants to deny as many resources as possible in tournament games. I understand, but in this case, you're right. The golds and the galleys, the fire galleys in this case, it's not going to happen then. And by looks of it, the secondary gold is about to be denied, but Riot is there to spot it. At least that has happened.
Oh yeah, but still, he's walling off the pond because he didn't want to get sneaked in. The dock's already behind, and the Max, this is looking pretty damn beautiful for him. But other side, Miguel is doing quite a lot of damage, and Belize, he couldn't finish his walls.
That's that, because Miguelson is now about to enter the base. He is currently inside of the base of Vilesa with 3 soon-to-be men-at-arms and 4 villagers in order to build a couple of watchtowers, though Vilesa best advised to go for the counter towers, currently trying his best to make sure that Miguelson is not able to move forward any further.
Oh, let's take a look. Defensive tower. will go up as we expected. Not really sending all villagers in here. One idle, one released. It's saving that one though, and I think he should be fine. Is that tower in range of the TC? No, it's... Is it? Is it or not? I'm not too sure. Those two men-at-arms
Not too sure
cannot be
either.
attacked. Okay, so trading off 2 men-at-arms at the moment against 1 villager. And... it just feels like Elise might lose his tower. That could be really ugly.
Yeah, but Vilesa now tries to get down the tower of Migazin here with his own set of villages. But then you can argue and say, okay, Vilesa now has a lot of idle time here, a lot of villages not doing too much. But yeah, he's getting the tower down here. Good move.
And he's walling the tower in so that the villagers cannot get outside there. Miguel, he will be completely trapped in there. And as you can see, the villagers bugging out. Men-at-arm gonna be killed. The tower is saved. And that's the whole forward of Miguel going down. Maybe a bit too over-aggressively there. Did see that Belize was pulling like 11 villagers. And now is losing everything. Beautiful move by Belize.
Yeah, excellently executed there. The villagers are dead. Great stuff with the wall there. It has worked. That's good. At least from the point of view of Vilesa here, because Zin has lost his entire forward here, and now he's best advised to actually go for some defensive towers, because I think that Vilesa might feel triggered here to move forward and to build up some counter aggression.
Yeah, and he easily should be able to do that. Archers can do quite a lot against Miguel, who's now towering himself up. And, well, towering yourself up in 2v2 most of the time means that you're investing a lot of resources that aren't really protecting your teammate. So maybe some troubles for Rio ahead.
Yeah, and speaking of which, currently the Max has made sure that one wood line on the left-hand side of his base is being denied with the tower there. Also, the water, as expected for now, completely being taken over by the Max. So therefore, the water currently completely belonging to the Finnish players.
Yeah, and that's 2 pawns against none. That's 9 extra fishing ships, and Japanese bonus really kicking in as well. No gold control at the moment for Riot. Finns in a supreme spot here.
Yeah, very much needed here, of course, score-wise. They need to go for some good win here. At the same time, Riot's just making use of the fact that of course, he doesn't have any gold. So what does he do? Utilizes the food that he has, and actually goes for the scouts. Tries to raid the base of the Max. Not too super successful, I'd say, but still he does something.
Yeah, Miguel, the Max only with 2 losses, and now we see the switch into the sling. Miguel, he realizes, okay, well, my forward failed quite a bit. I lost all my villagers, all my aggression potential. You do not have access to any gold. Let's combine our forces. I will give you gold. You will build some army. And please don't lose any villagers to Vilise, who will come over for sure.
And look at this, what's happening. Vilesa currently inside of the base of Riot there, trying to kill a couple of villagers. And now that he has fletching, it's definitely going to happen. One villager is dead, third villager is now dead as well. And therefore Riot's placing a watchtower there. But in the meantime, a lot of villagers also being killed.
Yeah, it's just super tricky. Rio is not really getting anything done with his scouts. Yeah, he stays very active, but defensive tower is still no gold access. Rio's resources. Does he even have a second building to click up? Yes, he does, but it's just looking so bad here for BzK.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just all of these things being added up to each other, with each other. It's just 2 pawns. And now that Migazin has chosen to go for this thing here, is Riot gonna profit from it? Is Riot gonna make the difference here? He's currently clicking up, but not sure how this is gonna evolve, because the pressure is on. Vilesa is doing his best to make sure that Riot is certainly being hurt for a longer period of time.
Well, let's see what he can do. The max is still somewhat open, has 400 food. We have Elise now taking wheelbarrow and 400 food for him as well. So the castle age timings will be a bit later for them. Just maybe Rio with 2 stables can get something done against the max, but I don't really see that. He needs to clear up his own base first.
Yeah, that's for sure. Cleaning up the mess and then strike back as soon as possible. Riot is getting +1 defense there for his soon. I don't know what he's going to go for the Knights most likely, but yeah, not sure how effective this is going to be, because the archers of Vilesa are doing great work there, being parked beneath the tower. Just such a great move there. So Riot's really not sure how effective he's going to be.
Either villagers as well. We see either villagers on the other side where archers are active from Belize and the towers of Miguel. He only has one tower there. The max is now up to Castle Age as well. Can go for counter camels if he wants to defend against the potential knights of Riot. I have no idea how Riot will get enough damage done here.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, what Riot needs to do is get the damage done. How? We don't know, because the damage has been dealt in such a way. He chooses to go for +2 defense. Alright, so he chooses to go for the quality over the quantity. I mean, with that kind of economy, he has 2 stables and he's currently producing knights like there's no tomorrow. But for that one, first of all, cleaning up the mess and then striking back. Question now is where to go to strike back. Where does Riot want to go? Currently, the max is walled up. The palisades are done. Therefore, it's going to be even tougher for him to go through and to apply some pressure.
Yeah, I wanted to say the max was open, but that was 1.5, 2 minutes ago. Now he stuffed all holes and really tricky for him, for Mr. Riot now to find any openings. Even Stonewalls here for the max. They are playing this perfectly. Second stable for the max to defend this off. It seems like there are no holes. Riot, he is not doing the damage he wanted to.
Yeah, and now we can also see Riot is currently placing a second TC for some more protection and maybe to get a couple of villages out even more. 31 villages. I mean, he gets the support of Miguel Zinyev resource-wise, but not sure, really. He's trying to go forward now even more. Does he try to shift the focus here? Nope. He still tries to attack the max. But even if he wants to go for Vilesa, he's going to be protected as well. So doesn't look too good for him.
Yeah, he's behind walls. He did have quite a lot of crossbowmen out as well. And yeah, it just seems the Finns are playing it super safe. Remember that also the eco bonus is really carrying them behind that. Belize already adding some fish traps here. So thinking about the very long run here. Miguel ties villagers, but don't get confused. That's still feudal age.
Yeah, that's still fuel age. That's still a lot of slinging there happening. And that being said, really not sure if this is going to be enough for Riot here. Riot, currently, what does he do with his knights? Just trying to spot them. Oh, okay. So they're still trying to batter down a couple of palisades, but what they'll find out is just more houses and stone walls. Therefore, I'm just asking myself when Riot wants to shift the focus and finally go for the base of Vilesa. Speaking of which, he is currently also stonewalling behind his palisade walls.
Oh yeah, that's so clever. They know exactly what's up. They know the strategy of BzK. They know, okay, if we avoid like 2-3 minutes of any damage, then we have the better eco, we get the better counter units, and we'll just kill our opponent team. And they're doing this to perfection.
Yeah, pretty much it. Just doing everything without any mistakes anymore, calculating everything, just finishing it off in a safe way, and that's pretty much it.
Riot goes for more knights, now clearing up his second gold spot. Did add it to C though, and is now heavily on stone, so maybe an aggressive castle might be coming up. And well, that could be tricky for the max. Maybe here at the very front. Maybe some better action or just some castles to open up some ratings.
Yeah, but for that one, the castles need to go up. Question is how this is going to be accomplished. At least there are a lot of knights for Riot here to actually make sure that the castle could safely go up. Question is where to go from there. Really not sure. Also curious about the camels of the max here, currently at the right-hand side of Riot's base. Are they going to go for something? That's the main question.
They did try to raid the woodline a bit, but as we all know, camels not really the damage dealers against anything else that isn't knights. So, well, did retreat, and now it's the time for Rio to build his castle, and oh, he isn't building it aggressively, he's building it to protect his gold. I think that's not the move he should have done in this spot.
I'd say so as well. I mean, damage has been done against Riot, and Riot tries to go for freeing the gold mine there. Understandable, but the castle placement, really, he should have just utilized it in a different way, and therefore also not really a promising move there.
The max, he should just camel up a bit more, now building a monastery. It's quite sick how Belize didn't kill a single unit for, I feel like 16 minutes or something. He killed one scout in his base. And after that, he's just booming up, increasing his numbers. And, well, I'm expecting him to go up to him pretty soon. But we can say the same for Riot.
Yeah, and then the question is what to expect. What to expect from both of the players here, Vilese and Riot. Riot is now on the way to MPLH, as we can see now. He has secured the gold with the castle at least. Now just asking myself, what else is going to happen? With the Malins in the late game, well, the cavalry, alright, Farimba, okay, it can work. Or you use your Gabidos, could also happen, but that really depends on the situation. But for now, there's no use for these Gabidos. So curious, Vilesa also on the way to the next stage.
Yeah, I think it will simply be mass Farimba Cavaliers against soon to be Arbalest from Belize, and he's adding some Halberdiers for himself as well. So I don't really see. They know exactly what Riot is going for. They know exactly the strategy, what's going on. It would just shock me if the Finns aren't, taking the right steps here.
Yeah, I'd say so as well. I fully agree. Vilesa is currently going for some infantry as well, as expected with the Japanese in the late game. He's building more barracks, so we can expect some halberdier moves from him as well. But not only that, so probably he's gonna add a couple of more units to that combination. But yeah, from Riot, as you said, it's some Farimba action definitely gonna happen. Question then is how successful is it gonna be? How successful is it gonna be against the Max or Vilesa at this point? We'll find
The thing
out.
is, the Max is still in Castle Age. That's kind of weird, right? And not really clicking up. Well, he needed to wall quite a bit. Did build some camels, but not the sickest amount ever. So we'll take some time till he gets onto his own heavy camels to defend. And Riot, oh boy, he broke through the center.
God, man. Yeah, man, you said the gate was just open. There was a monk sitting beneath the gate here, and Riot is now inside, by the way. I mean, how did that happen? And now, interesting situation that has just come out of this one. Farimba and Cavalier kicking in very soon. Wow.
Okay, so Release, he needs just to go for mass halberdiers here to defend this, and then they should still be fine. Japanese halberdiers obviously extremely strong there with the faster attacking. Still enough good control for the Max. He's stonewalling behind the right hand side. Left hand side is kind of okayish as well. He didn't get the big raids in here, Mr. Riot. And it's still the Finns keeping calm, having the better ego, chilling it out, and knowing if we continue to not take damage, we are continuing to increase our advantage.
Yeah, that's pretty much the philosophy here behind this gameplay. As you said, it's also the night action was not as successful. Just some calm gameplay by the Max. Wall it off, just make sure everything is defended. That's fine for now. And what you also said was Vilesa and the Salvadors, they're gonna do really well against the army of Riot here, and currently engaging in a quite bad fight here, in my opinion, from the point of view of Riot. Still does it.
Well, yeah, well, he's at least snacking out the crossbowman, which never really got the upgrades to Arbalest, no bracelet as well. They just realized, okay, just mass halberdiers is doing enough. The Max is slowly getting onto him as well. Back TC, very back TC, so cannot really be contested there. And maybe we need a tech switch from Riot. Is he going for Gebedos? Not as of yet.
I mean, he is getting Scammer armor. At least that's some kind of indication that infantry is going to be part of the mix as well. But just a single barracks, and looking at the castle, he has two of them. So there's a tendency that this could happen, Gabidos, but we'll find out eventually.
Would be pretty nice against the halberdiers. Then the Arbalest could have been nice again. Gebedos indeed are now being queued up. He has his +2 attack that Marians have as an option, and maybe that could be a nice composition.
Yeah, it could work, at least for a decent portion of the time, but then again, there are some answers against this kind of constellation with the teams, with the civilizations that they are facing. Yeah, that being said, the Max also on the way to Imperial Age finally, so that's at least something. And then we have two Imperial Age forces versus Riot and Megazin Imperial Age.
Yeah, Imperial Age indeed. But he's now clicking up to Castle Age, and Maybe wants to increase the sling a bit more. Did play without any walls to increase the map control. At least just going for Halberdiers. They did get some conversions against the Cavaliers, which cleared up the traps of Riot. He is slowly running out of steam here.
Slowly but steadily really happening. I'm asking myself what Migazin really wants to accomplish by going for the Castle Age. Now, if he thinks that he can make a difference with that kind of move, we'll find out. But it looks quite significant here how the Finnish players are now just finishing it off by dealing with what is being offered here by Riot and then eventually striking back completely.
Let's see, Elite Geppetto now the switch. They would perform pretty well against Halberdiers and any camels potentially from the max. Thing is, they don't really have the numbers just yet, and Velis, he still has the option to switch into Arbalest. It seems like BzK, even their TeamSpeak broke down. They start to chat.
Yeah, exactly. I saw Migazin writing a couple of times. And that's an indication that something doesn't go too well. But most importantly, what you've said is the numbers of Riot here. The Gabitos are really not that much of a huge threat here number-wise, but at least 3 castles, so he can reinforce. And he has dealt with the army of Vilesa here currently, so no more Halberdiers currently inside. So maybe there is a little, I don't want to call it a huge momentum here, but maybe Riot can do something with that one.
Let's see, at the moment he has 18 military. On the other side, the max at 24, Velis at only 8. And the max, where is his military? He has some Geppettos himself, not really upgraded too well there. The casual monks, some camels. That's not too scary.
That's not too scary at all, you're right. And Migazin going for Imperial Age now? Interesting moves there. Really curious how Migazin wants to include himself in the game for now. Just checking out his base here. Calf Arch is what we see here currently. Another archer range being added. Okay, so classical Hans move, question mark? We'll find out.
It feels so weird. That's a counter against the Halberdiers, but well, they already have a counter against the Halberdiers here with the Geppettos. So I feel maybe something more in the calf direction could have been something a bit better. And also I feel that he's not building anything too useful in him. I think he just should have boomed up and then go for the 150 villager sling.
Probably, because as you said, it's why calf archers now, aren't they quite obsolete now? And furthermore, even if they want to go for some counter force, some counter action, not sure if the calf archers in this kind of map now are useful because everything has been walled off, and therefore not really sure. And also at the same time, Vilesa is in front of Migazin's base. Trebuchets all over the place.
Pressuring the front a bit. Now we're getting into the phase where thinking about starting the trade becomes really important, and well, the max controlling the right hand side corner really helping him out. And I think with that amount of stables we might see him go for some light calf, maybe some sling could be nice for him, and that could be really annoying.
Yeah, that's for sure. The max is now getting Farimba, by the way, so his units, his cavalry units are going to be extremely strong here, drastically increasing their strength. As you can also see on the right hand side, right, so many stables of the max just in preparation to spark some decent raiding here. Interestingly, he chooses to go for camels, but nevertheless for Rimba and now light calves, that's the most important thing. If the raiding is going to happen, it's just so strong.
Yeah, it has to be so ugly for Miguel, who doesn't really have a lot of stuff going for himself. At the moment we see a big engagement here in the center. Arbalest now trying to snipe the Geppettos from long distance. They're mainly going down here, not really having the greatest numbers, but in exchange a lot of Halberdiers going down as well, so maybe the Cavaliers of Rio are now back doing some damage.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Riot actually had enough time to go for some maximization of military numbers. He did so, and currently it's working. Bless is forced to go back here at this point. Didn't expect it, I gotta be honest. But the trebuchets also of Riot making sure that more buildings are being raised down and more castles are being built. Interesting.
Interesting indeed. More castles are going down from Riot. That's kind of tricky. He needs to fight like 3 angles at the time release with the very late ballistics here. Kind of a slip up, and well, trade has started. The Finns, they're setting themselves up for the very late game. Lovely stuff. And Miguel, well, he did tech to him, is having pikemen. but overall, it just still looks pretty tricky for him at pop 90.
Yeah, at pop 90, but it's also decreasing heavily here. The max is just not stopping anymore, producing more and more units, and he's going into the direction of Migazan's base. Currently, Migazan's base, it doesn't look too bright, and that being said, not sure if I'm really not sure if Migazan is going to get out of the situation in a healthy way, so...
Well,
that's
the earlier he GGs, the healthier he is, I believe. And
most likely.
doesn't look like he will resign too early because, well, or to the close future, because Riot is just pushing here and felt like he just took a good engagement, did eat a lot of Arbalest, did kill a lot of monks, and is now going over for the next attack at the top, trying to protect his traps.
Yeah, that's that. And just looking at all of the tags being tagged now, Vilesa wants to find another solution, actually deal with the Gabitas here. And I don't know if you spotted as well, but Elite Samurai, interesting choice, but actually could work. What do you think about that one?
I don't like that one. He only has one caster to begin with. That's kind of a costly, or not too costly upgrade, but I think the Arbalest did fine. They won't perform too well against the Cavaliers, need to close down the distance against the Rebettos, and if Rio just micros well enough, not a big fan. I think Arbalest Halberdier was doing the job.
Think so as well. I mean, you said it, it's not that much of an expensive one. Still, reinforcement rates, just a single castle in comparison to Halberdier's out of 1 bazillion barracks that he has currently. It's just odd decision here. We'll find out how it'll be, but also I'm just curious about the right hand side still. It just looks like a one-way ticket to hell for Miguel Zin here. More and more units being added, even Gabitos now, by the way, by the max here. And that being said, idle villagers, skirmishes of Migazin looks quite bloody.
Elite Skirmishers at the 50-minute mark, not really a good sign for a team game here, that everything is rolling in their direction, and well, something is rolling in his direction. It's the max.
Yeah, that's that for sure. It's the max all over the place now on the right hand side. Looking at the minimap, for instance, the color red is just fading away slowly but steadily. Migazin is trying to place his TCs on the corners of the map and the edges of the map, I mean, to the stone and to the wood on the north, but it's not going to make the huge difference, and therefore it's all going to depend on Riot, but Riot also doesn't make the most striking moves forward, so to speak, and therefore looking quite dark here.
Oh yeah, look at that. Population now really falling. Rio is dropping down to pop 130. Miguel stays around 90, and the Finns both keeping their pop limit. And you just see Belize is now continuing to push in further forward. Halberdiers are taking good care of all the Cavaliers. Arbalest from the back taking down the Gebettos. And we finally see the GGT that was kind of overdue for half an hour.
Yeah, probably you're right. GG. Oh boy. All right.
Yeah, so double pawn control, just super strong on this map. Extremely sneaky move there by the max. Incredible defense against the aggression of Miguel, and it kind of already felt over at that point. And then they tried to go for the desperate sling, but the Finns, rock solid defense.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. That was pretty much it. The way how they crippled Riot there, taking over the pawns, it just looked quite bad from the beginning on. You're right.
And we will take a look into the statistics. Chris Toby, thanks for the prime. T West, now here for 2 years on EscapeAoE even. And nice. Riot, he got the most kills, but well, he also got the most resources and wasn't always super cost efficient.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this KD of Vilesa, for instance, 187 versus 254, right? What does that mean? I mean, they won, but also Vilesa, I don't know if it was because of some kind of weird unit choices towards the end, but he has sacrificed a lot of units. In the end, though, it was enough because the Max did some great work in the background, especially towards the end of the game, was successful.
Yeah, And, well, Riot obviously first encapsulated an imp, got the sling there, had quite solid numbers, had 5 castles rolling for himself, but didn't really matter
Exactly.
because the defense of the Finns was too strong. And, well, that game kind of felt chaotic, and now I'm scared for the next one. It's Chaos Pit.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be chaotic for sure, especially the beginning of the game. Looking forward though.
Okay, and I think we can just give them the go. Chaos Pit still Suomi with their back against the wall. Need to win the next 2 maps here. Oh, player stats. Riot against Release. I didn't go over that. I just used my numpad. Well, we're jumping into the game. And let's take a look. Chaos Pit. What civilizations are they going for? And what laming will we see?
Yeah, that's especially the last thing that you've mentioned going to be quite important. So what's happening? Them eyes red, and nearly the combination is here again, and it's going to be Miguel Zin Riot versus the Max Vilesa, of course. And looking at the civilizations, top left-hand side, Koreans, Miguel Zin, okay. Teammate to the south is Riot with the Aztecs, okay. And then on the right-hand side, Vilesa with the Mongols in the green color, and then the Max with the Franks.
Tricky,
Yeah.
right? Okay, a lot of thoughts. So, for everyone who doesn't know this map, we have very limited resources here. No gold in kind of the middle area. You need to chop yourself out to have gold control. Everyone has 2 packs of 2-tile stone spots. So, controlling those could be really crucial. Koreans could be great at that. And as I just said, you don't have access to gold. So having that 50 extra gold means you can go on to 3 man-at-arms here with that stacks.
Exactly. So that's quite of an interesting move with the Aztecs. Curious to see how this is going to evolve. Then on the other side, we got Franks and Mongols. So with the Mongols, I'd say okay, Mongols they're known for scouts, but in this case, they're known for going up quite early. So we can expect some towers also being possible. That's definitely a thing. And then Franks rather classical move from the Max. So kinda surprised that they didn't go for some more aggressive civilization combination maybe, but maybe that's just my taste from the point of view of Suomi especially, known for being
Well,
so sick.
they are actually quite aggressive civilizations. You have a lot of deer, you don't have boars though, and you have double berries. So Franks and Mongols kind of play aggressively here. And, well, I think they're kind of the standard safe choices, kind of as we expected after they didn't pick Mongols on step.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're aggressive in that way. I should have maybe thought in a different kind of direction, but some kind of other thing is happening currently in the north, and that is pretty much expected here from the Max here. Once again, walling in the resources of Miguel, and that's not just any kind of random resource we're talking about. That's the stone.
Oh yeah, and leaving the stone of the Korean player.
Hmm.
Miguel, he does not see that as of yet. And oh god, even house needs to loom. Isn't even building the house somewhere. Now only queues it up. Kind of a weird mistake by him. And Koreans without stone. Are they really Koreans?
Are they giving Koreans? Yeah, that's the main question. I mean, there are more options left, at least. Migazan has access to another stone pile, let's say kind of close, but also quite to the front. Though the Max is aware of this, currently chasing the scout of Miguel, and tries to utilize his villager once again, and looks quite successful. That villager is there and about to ward in as well. There we go. Wow.
And the thing is, you can lame so much better with Franks since you have more HP on your scout. So always winning the scout war is quite nice for you there. And Miguel, no reaction to that. Maybe he's trying to get some stone over at Riot, but this isn't too pretty for him. Maybe he feels, yeah, okay, it's fine if you wall that with stone. I still have the other one. Surprise!
Yeah, pretty much. And something else also happening in the south, right? So some mirror stuff is happening here. Vilesa is going for the lame as well. Not only the stone is being lamed now, but also the deer being killed by the single villager of Vilesa. And more stuff is going to happen, most expectedly. Also, the berries now being labeled the max. Wow, that's some really aggressive move there from him. And Migazin, now realizing the situation, tries to engage, but the damage has been dealt.
Yeah, I'm quite shocked how passively the Brazilians are playing this. This is a map where you normally lane pretty heavily, and we did some practice games for this one, and everyone kind of sent villager number 5 out and just went crazy, and we felt, okay, Francis is really good here because you have the more HP on this one. And yeah, seems like Rio and Miguel more of the peaceful approach here.
Yeah, and the question is, it's not a real question. I think that this is a bad move, especially on a map like this, where on Chaos Pit, this is one of the craziest maps, so to speak, in which a lot of chaotic stuff can happen, and it's quite hard to bring some kind of system into this kind of map. Currently seeing some kind of wall attempt of Riot, by the way, who tries to secure at least the southern part of his base. But once again, we see something else happening in front of these walls. This is the villager group of Vilesa waiting to go for feudal age and then drop a tower eventually, by the looks of it.
Yeah, and he can't rush, something that, well, will be problematic for Riot, who didn't even go for his man-at-arms. So I'm quite surprised what the approach will be here. Oh, massive amount of walls here. Is that maybe a sling? Would be really weird.
Yeah, that would be quite weird because, yeah, I mean, we've seen it. Slinging, you need to be kind of protected and it needs to be useful. And how useful is it going to be? Once again, we have a kind of similar situation in which the one who is to be slung, in the case, let's say someone is being slung, then would be crippled from the beginning on. And that's pretty much it for now. The first tower is being built currently, by the way. Vilas is going for it. The berries are there for denied.
Yeah, and this is actually for Riot being up to feudal age so late really hindered him. And well, Miguel, since he got that aggressive tower up, he now has access to the stone of the max. Let's take a look. I expect him to try to deny that. Goes for town watch, goes for some defensive towers, and they will fight for the 2 stone spots of the max.
Actually, interesting move and good move by Migazin, just to say, okay, this is my stone now. The watchtower placement then of Migazin, not really sure. It's still possible for the max to deny it, as you said it. We'll find out how this is going to be accomplished. Just also looking to the other sides, just also something that is important here. Maybe we should also talk about this one, the lumber camp placements here, for the sake of getting out of this chaos bit, so to speak. It's just, yeah, all of the players this time have decided to actually go for the outer part of the chaos pit in order to get out eventually.
Yeah, closest one is Felice, only 50 wood left for him. Now another tower for Miguel, kind of in the center here, but the max is aware of it. Townwatch is helping out, the scout is helping out as well, and some spearmen. This is going to be interesting, Miguel. That's an ambitious tower.
Yeah, that's for sure. The villager's currently battering it down. Not battering it down, some villager fight here. Legit taking place. Wow.
I think Miguel or the max should pull some more villagers. This might be a pretty good fight at the moment for Miguel. Seems like the tower is going up, some idle villagers here. And the max, I think this might even be an underreaction. I thought he was pulling more of those villagers. The tower will go up indeed. And for now, the max with the lost villager and not too much gains.
Yeah, kind of surprised. I thought in the beginning it looked quite interesting, so villager fight, and then maybe Migazin will be pushed away. But nope, he had the time, and the tower, the ambitious tower is up. And not only this one, the second tower will be up very soon. Unexpected.
Okay, and Release, what does he say? He did build an outpost for himself, but that did not have townwatch, so no idea about this coming up. And those are 2 of his precious berry bushes.
Yeah,
Miguel,
pretty much.
he's making something happen.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, Migazin once again has lost his stone there because of the Tower of the Max, but he is about to find another stone, and he has found it there, the one close to Vilasa's base. Speaking of which, Vilasa tries to go inside of the base of Reed here on the left-hand side, and your initial guess, educated guess, was it right? He's built the market now, but he's also placed a blacksmith there, so really not sure what his approach was with this wall here, but he is currently protected. But the barracks of Reed gonna go down very soon.
I have no idea what he's really doing at the moment. Only one defensive tower. Didn't build any single military unit. Does not have a barracks anymore. So no chance for any production at the moment. I'm really clueless what the plan of Riot is at the moment.
Yeah, really. I mean, probably tries to go out of this chaos pit as soon as possible and then somehow accomplish something afterwards, but we'll find out. For now, just really curious about Miguel Zin once again. The berries of the Max were denied for a longer period of time. The Max now, it seems, did he give up? No, he's still at it on the left-hand side, building another tower there in front of Miguel Zin's base, but not sure if it's now making the huge difference.
Well, maybe to cure himself, to stone a bit more. We'll get him to the berries as well. Thing is, the Max, he has quite a scary force outside the woodline of Miguel now. But Miguel isn't out, Riot is, and he's not getting any raids against him. Now on to gold. Maybe Riot will just get into Fast Castle here pretty quickly and then go on to Eagles.
It could be. I mean, looking at the resources, this is quite insane. He's pulled off quite a fast castle age on this kind of map. And that being said, the people are already outside here. Just looking at the moves here, for instance, the Max, he tries to probably wall off the attempt of Miguel Zin getting outside with stone walls, stone gates, we'll see. And also Vilesa is outside here walling off quite a decent portion of the outer part of the map. So that being said, still Suomi here with a great move. Though curious about Riot, he could build up a huge momentum with Eagles, as you said it.
Well, he doesn't even have a barracks so far. Now buying some stuff, and well, Miguel starts the sling, so that's the plan here. And we are seeing sling number 4 in 4 games, I believe, right? Need to think about it, and that's going to be some Eagles. And it's really tricky to be well protected in the center of the map here on Chaos Pit.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. The Max is also placing another, instead of walling this area of Miguel Zin's lumber camp to the top left-hand side, he places a watchtower. Also quite of a... It doesn't surprise me even because it's the Max here, but it's actually beautifully accomplished. The entire wood line of Miguel Zin is now moving away, and but you said it's something that happens, so it's not really important. Curious about Riot now. As you said, also he didn't have barracks. Now he has. He's about to have 3 of them. Eagles are in the making. And that being said, Vilesa and Max also on the way to the next stage.
And Vilise, he's just going back, maybe walls in his towers a bit more. Oh, yeah, he does that. Nice move. And oh, look at how open Miguel is with all his villagers in the center of the map. What are the Finns going for? Vilise for now, no barracks, so that is maybe Mango Dice. Does he have enough stone? Not really. On the other side, the Max, he has a barracks, no stable, but we're kind of expecting knights from him.
Yeah, I would pretty much say that one, especially from the Max. I mean, he has the Franks, classical gameplay. I am about to take this one back. The Max is now going for men-at-arms here. As a defensive measure, of course, as he has to deal with Riot now. Riot is currently trying to raid the right-hand side here with a single Eagle Warrior there. But yeah, so probably the Max wants to utilize his long swordsman, but that's only a defensive way of dealing with the situation.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that at all. Won't protect, release at all. Knights could be doing a way better job there. And the Max, yeah, he's tagging for that, is going for the second barracks. You are Franks. I think Knights are just so much better. Let Release boom up, let him get to 80 villagers, and then let him sling you onto more Knights, onto Cavaliers later on. And I think they could have been in a good position.
I'd say so, 100%. Knights are definitely definitely favorable here in this case against even the Eagle Warriors, but it's definitely going to be longswordspin for now. The more I think of it, the less I like it. And that being said, he can deal with it, but afterwards, if he defends himself, where does he want to go with a longswordsman? Doesn't it make more sense just to go for Knights, as you said it? So that's that.
Oh, well, I think Knights are better, but yeah. Eagles, they are just really strong, and especially like Aztecs being slung at the moment. It feels like all the metal civilizations performing really well in those situations. where they don't need the biggest eco. And also Knights could have been nice to raid Miguel, so even another argument that could have been in favor for the Knights.
Definitely. But for now, it adds up. Reed is inside of the base of Vilesa. Is just raiding everything as much as possible. He should, of course, try to move forward even further. Just curious to see how this is going to evolve here. The Eagles are now coming close where Miguel is as well. Miguel tries to actually deny the gold income for Vilesa with some clever towers. That's actually quite smart there. Yeah, so how does this game go from here? Eagles all over the place. What to do now?
Yeah, well, longsword is the answer. Thing is for them, if we look at the outside, it's like 90% against 10% control, right? They've walled in Rio very tightly here. He only has access to one single gold spot pretty soon. And Finland has control over the complete rest.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate there. It's also quite. I don't even know what to say about this one. The longswordsmen are chasing a couple of villagers here and there in the middle of the map, but I know it's the main purpose of these units here currently. And furthermore, I just want to try to understand why not knights in particular, but maybe because Riot has the advantage of pulling off some monks then, and then he could just easily convert. Is that why he doesn't go for the knights?
Well,
It's just a question.
if you can fight with longswords, they're better than knights in the 1v1 head, right? But
Yeah.
the thing is, with longswords you can never really force a fight, and with knights you can. You're simply always walking behind the eagles. Well, if Rio is doing moves like those, it's obviously not too bad for the max, and well, he has some raids in the center now. It's quite surprising to me that Rio did allow that. Should have had a gate.
Yeah, should have been prevented that for sure. All right, so that's that. Currently looking also at Riyad's base here. He's adding more of his TC, and he's about to have an unexpected guest there. That's the Max with more longswordsmen. Okay, just randomly inside of the base.
Yeah, we don't see longswordmen raids too often, right? And you can see the reason for that. He only got one stuff, and well, Riot resigns this one. They were just too far behind in the eco and realized not a lot of gold control. Now the longswordman in the end did clear up all the eagles. They knew, okay, we don't have the gold. It kind of felt weird to see longswordman butterfins just too far ahead the whole time.
Yeah. That's that. Especially what you said about the map control outside. It's 90 to 10 roughly, and you said gold control not really existence for the longer period of time for the game here for Riyad and Miguelson. Therefore, GG. There we go.
Yeah, and Miguel couldn't get to the outside. In addition to that, and well, we were discussing a lot about if knight or longsword could be the better option, but in the end, they were just ahead too far. And well, BzK, they were leading 2-0 and now did pull it back through the rubber mat to game number 5.
Crazy stuff, really. I mean, as a caster, of course, I'm happy to see as many games as possible. Therefore, cool stuff.
And well, didn't I say at the start, whoa, unlikely we will see game number 5?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I got proven wrong. And sometimes I like when I'm getting proven wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely enjoyable in this case. Seeing the last map here could be quite nice, that's for sure. Is there anything you want to say about the achievements here? Anything special? Or is it...
Maybe let's take a look at the stone income of the Korean player. Did in the end go up to 1100, but not much more. Did use the market a bit, did sling, but well, Riot simply didn't get the kills, and I still question this move of Riot to simply ignore all feudal age.
Yeah, pretty much, right? What has happened there? You choose the Koreans, and then you say, all right, I'm not going to go for the fast towers there. Yeah, it didn't work, first of all. That's the most important thing. He was too passive. He didn't have the healthy stone income, and then later on he got some, but it was too late, especially because of the 90-10 situation outside. The towers couldn't just pull off a move that could make the huge difference. So that's that.
That's that indeed, and map number 5 is now waiting for us. It will be Salt Marsh, and I'm really excited for that one. I will give my go, and then we are looking into the decider, BzK. Will they be stable enough to pull it back and win this one, or is Suomi continuing their streak and is taking 3 games in a row and therefore the whole series?
Gonna be sick for sure. Game is starting now, and there we go. And here we are once again. Welcome, welcome. And we are on Salt Marsh indeed. Interesting map. Curious to see what's gonna happen. For now, let's start with Miguelsen here, top right hand side with the Franks. And then his teammate Riad on the left hand side, top left hand side with the Portuguese. Okay. And then we got Viles on the south with the Malay. And last but not least, the Max on the right hand side with the Indians.
Oh, and 2 of my favorite civilizations being picked here, Malay and Portuguese. Obviously Portuguese, you have the early cartography, lovely stuff there, and can contest water a lot. But Malay, if they get mass harbors on this map, they're dominating so heavily if we get onto the situation though.
Wow, imagine that, mass harvest. That would be quite insane. You're right, that's actually possible. But if we get there, you're right. So we also got other civilizations involved. We also got rather classical moves with Idiots and Franks. So interesting all in all. I just wonder what kind of constellations we will see, what kind of moves in general. So not good with predictions on this map. We'll see for sure. But if you have any ideas, feel free to tell us. Currently just looking at how the game is evolving with the villagers and their placements.
Well, the typical composition, obviously, Frank scouts, Portuguese archers, Malay archers, and Indian scouts. Miguel already with the quite interesting start, sending villagers over to berries way earlier than you normally see, placing the mill before the lumber camp. That's the beauty of Franks, especially on this map, because you have more berries than on any other one.
Yeah, that's for sure. More berries is quite huge, so Frank's definitely a good choice here. But then again, as you said it, we got this archer, the crossbow knight situation. Then we have Indians versus Franks. So kind of similar to the Huns versus Indian situation. Do you think it's a difference now that we have Franks instead of Huns versus Indians in this case?
Franks has a bit of a better eco here than Hans, but well, the concept is still the same, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so as well. All right. So that's pretty much that. Just also looking if anything special is happening, but currently not too much. Just sheep being stolen, I believe. On the in the north, I mean, or is it maybe just sheep of Miguelsen? I didn't really spot there, but nothing really super spectacular for now.
Miguel, obviously, he should have a lot of sheep left because he went onto the berries so much earlier. Is missing those 2 quite unfortunately here. Oh boy. And well, now switches on to wood as well. Nice defensive gold for him. It's actually one of the few spots where he could have backdogged, but he could not really know that. And well, I think the first 30 minutes will play pretty similar to an Arabia style, but then the water kicks in.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see that one, especially if the water kicks in. That being said, I mean, as you said, it's more of an Arabia type of game for play for now, and also really looking who's going to place some barracks. And the first one I spot here is on the right-hand side, the Max here, by the way, with the barracks going up. And that being said, he was on gold there for a second. He straggles 10 gold, and that's no mining camp for now. Is he gonna pull off a fast, at least rush? That's the question, because then he's gonna click up first.
It looks like a Drush, right? Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of weird with Indians. Playing Drushfast Castle, not your typical move with Indians, but, well, I said it plays a bit like Arabia to begin with, but it's way more wallable. Big wood lines here, and you can see Velise, he is playing Drush FC, and so is the Max. So they will play this way more, well, kind of defensively than the BzK guys, who will most likely go for Archer and Scouts here in Field Age.
Indeed, more of a defensive move here. Both have their respective bases, so team walls or something like this are not likely to happen on this kind of map. They're going for some separate maps here. And then, yeah, Migazin and Weird, as you said, going to go forward. More of a fast move from them, though I'm asking myself how fast are they going to be, because if the enemies, Vilas and Max, wall up in time, scouts, for instance, will not make a difference anymore.
Well, yeah. I think they should be walled in time, right? The Max is completely walled at the right-hand side. Actually, there's a straggler here, but that's so far away that we won't really see that at the right-hand side for the Max, who's now continuing to wall at the towers, and he will be completely safe. Vili still has to do some walling here, but should be doing that all in time as well. Yeah, BzK, they can't do any damage.
Yeah, that's quite important. And for now, Vilesa and the Max have the opportunity to go for some damage with their Drush. The Max, though, currently, what is he doing? He was about to go inside of the base. Now he has moved to the right hand side. He has spotted that there's this huge wood line, so he's kind of bound to go to the left hand side once again. That's that. And Vilesa, he has surrounded the base, or he's just encircled the base of Ariad, and Ariad with some quick walls with the village on the berries. And maybe Vilesa is going to be able to harass a couple of more villagers on the woodline.
Let's take a look. Riot going for the quick houses. That could have been a spot for some gates as well. Now the militia can actually harass the gold a bit more. Getting the archery ranges up on the outside, and, well, right hand side rush is cleared up from the Max. No losses here for Miguel. Oh, actually it shows one loss. So yeah, lost one scout. And now we'll get the bad news. We'll walk into fully walled the Max.
Yeah, that's that pretty much, because what you want to do with your scouts then, not really a lot of options that you have. The Max is gonna click up the first from the finished players with 29 villagers, and yeah, it's just something that is currently happening. Looking at Viles, for instance, I mean, he has melee, of course it's going to be a bit different for him, so that's also something to keep in mind. Currently also Viles's Drush is still taking place, by the way. He's about to annoy Reed a bit more.
Yeah, but once the first two archers are out, which there are now, even three, actually going out at the wrong side in my opinion. Kind of weird movement by Reed. I think he just should have ungarrisoned them closer to the berries. Now we'll take some extra hits here on his scout. His will's way longer idle than I thought. Yeah. And okay, let's take a look how this plays out. The lead's now up as well. Should have a pretty solid Drush FC there as well. With melee, you obviously need to go up a bit later.
Exactly, that's for sure. Just really curious, man. These villagers were idle way too much here, but it has happened. Riot now on the way to apply some pressure, question mark. Also something that is... Oh no, it's just me. I thought that the scouts of Migazan were about to go inside of the base of Vilesa, but he's just also walled the backside of his base. And that being said, maybe the archers are going to be able to apply more pressure. Not sure currently without any fletching, so it's going to take some more time. And curious to see how fast BzK is going to go up, because they need to do something against the current situation.
Well, yeah, they're pressuring a bit. Vili's actually making a small mistake of not building a second feudal age building here. Goes for double archer range, no blacksmith at the moment, but probably will build one at the right hand side and then defend this off. Riot, start a trade, that's a bug in the overlay, guys. And yeah, now rushing out the blacksmith. Vili's realizes, okay, that was a small hiccup by me, and all the aggression seems to be stopped for now.
Yeah, pretty much. The Max is going for the castle age now, looking at his base, trying to spot a couple of interesting buildings, revealing buildings. I mean, he has a single stable, he still has 4 villagers on gold. We could expect him to go for camels here, would make sense. And Vilesa also now on the way to the next stage. You said it, he has built arch ranges with the melee. He's just gonna go for the crossbows.
Oh, and Vili's just putting a market behind that as well. Should be super safe. Could have even gone for Age of Gate Pyres, but he will just be fine. 17-16 his castle age timing with 35 villagers. completely using the full potential of the melee, and well, he will be somewhat fine. Might need to see a defensive tower at some point.
Yeah, could be, because the force is not to be underestimated. The market is at least built halfway, but oh no, it's gonna be stone walls. Interesting choice.
He wants to probably build another gate there, and see how he built them one by one. Kind of surprising to me. Just tries to hold off here, and well, what is the max up to? We only see one stable, so that will be heavy boom by him. Adds 2 TCs instantly.
Yeah, that's something to consider. Do you want to go for 2 stables, 3 stables, or 1 stable in this case with the Indians especially? That's going to be definitely some heavy boom. 3 TCs for now. I mean, 2 TCs are in the making, and just a couple of camels for now. Just 2 to be exact. And just looking at the stats of the camels, no stats at all. Just the classical vanilla camels currently with the +1 bonus that they receive from being Indians. And Miguel Zin is on the way to the Castle Age.
Yeah, his timing didn't suffer at all. Riot, well, maybe having his villagers a bit more on the working side. Early feudal age could have helped him out. Currently only looking at 600 food. Might face a timing where some crossbowmen and camels could be knocking at his door.
It could happen, that's for sure. Curious to see how it's going to be accomplished. And also asking myself about Riyadh and his plans. Ah, there we go. He's finally clicking up here. Okay. All right. So if that's that, then I'm okay with that. The walling approach of Riyadh, by the way, is an interesting one. To the left-hand side, if you spot that one, the houses and the palisades there, quite a lot of buildings there. Interesting choice. But also now the Max's camels are inside of the base of Miguel.
Oh yeah, and that doesn't look too great for Miguel here. I think Finland, they're in a fine spot at the moment because the camels are keeping everything open, and then the crossbowmen, they should be doing quite some damage against all that gold spot. Massive amount of knights now need to be produced for Miguel to somehow hold this off.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, in his base, Migazan has knights at least. They have, of course, more HP and the +1 defense, so that's at least something. Dealing with the camels without any kind of upgrades for now. But as soon as the crossbows are there as well, curious to see how this is going to evolve. Some help is needed, that's for sure.
Yeah, let's take a look. They aren't trying to break through the area that was open before. They're just trying to break the other palisade walls. For now, Miguel already lost some HP on his knights and still has only +1 defense, so the crossman could be doing some damage, trying to break the walls.
Yeah, pretty much. Miguel Zin actually with a good TC placement there just to make sure that this side is kind of safe. But as you also said it, the army of the Finnish player is currently trying to pressure Miguel Zin's base from another point. So maybe some other defensive moves are required in order to deal with that one. But at least Riot is about to be part of the game with a significant amount of crossbowmen with Botkin arrow now. This could be the end of this army very soon if that's done correctly. Let's see.
Yeah, it's an easy clear up here. Rio alone could clear this up. Maybe even Miguel alone could clear this up. And they actually let some camels slip. That's a big mistake here. 4 camels are getting home. Obviously, they could have cleared this up even more efficiently. And, well, they won't lose a single unit in exchange here. Belize will lose everything, but that could have been 4 camel kills that they really would have liked. They are so far behind in Eco now. Look at that. Roughly 50 villagers already.
Wow, incredible stuff. This really scary at this point. Curious to see how they want to actually go for some kind of compensating move. What is required now is, of course, counter pressure. A lot of counter pressure to equalize the situation somehow, to justify the situation in which they're back that much. By the looks of it, they want to go for the max.
Yeah, makes somewhat sense keeping the Indian player down. Malay player, if he gets into Arbalest, it gets really tricky as well, though. So maybe they're just going to the opponent that is a bit closer. And the max, he doesn't have the greatest numbers at the moment. Only bloodlines, no other upgrades as we saw before. And
Yeah, That's that. Miguel Zin is currently attacking here on the left-hand side of the max base. Riot tries to join this, it seems. Some defensive siege workshop by the max is going up, very much needed, considering the fact that there are a lot of crossbows to be expected, but the crossbows are also going to kill some villagers. Are they going to be able to deny the siege workshop even? Yeah,
Looks
seems
a
like
bit
it.
like it. Yeah. And the
Oh,
max, how is he getting onto better numbers? For now, he's not producing. What is his action here at the moment? Defensive siege workshop, some more gates. Well, it is Age of Gate Pyres, right? And it seems like he might even be clicking up to Imp before he really starts producing camels.
yeah, he tries to go for Imperial Age as soon as possible. He has a lot of food, but not enough gold. That's definitely gonna slow him down a lot. The gates probably will buy him some time, but there are a lot of units, so curious to see how they're gonna deal with the situation. Viles is on the way, but we're talking about crossbowmen. They need some time to arrive there, so more pressure could be built up. Though the mangonel is finally there to save the day for the max at least. BzK is moving out now.
Oh, and did you see the Max instantly moving his villagers towards the repair for the
Yeah.
siege workshop? He knew, okay, I have the mangonel out. It's likely that Riot will move away, and yeah, just try to go for more repair. Meanwhile, Riot, he thinks 42 villagers are enough to just casually click to Imperial Age.
Of course, why not? Why not? No, it's definitely quite outstanding here. He's also going for ballistics, so we can expect him to go for some more ranged action. Just checking out his resources at this point. Yeah, there's nothing too spectacular now. Just Imperial Age, and then of course more focus on his ranged units. That being said, of course, could have a nice time fighting against the Max for now, because the Max still tries to accomplish something, which is going for the next stage. Doesn't look too healthy for him. He's under pressure.
Yeah, I think he should have used the market a bit more. He has enough resources, now starting to juggle a bit, can finally click up to Imp here, goes for the +1 defense, and well, they're just waiting to let their better eco carry themselves. Still heavily ahead, but Riot, he might get a good timing here with his Arbalest pretty soon.
Yeah, I think so as well. The momentum arising from that one, quite of a huge one in my opinion. He has 44 military, and of course Viles is there as well, but not with his entire army by the looks of it. So he has 41 military, but those are not 41 crossbowmen. Another portion is arriving currently towards the base of the max, but also another portion of Riot's army is going to arrive. Arbalest is going to kick in very soon. And that being said, yeah, I like the position of BzK, but also comparing the economy of each of these teams, BzK must do what they do currently.
They could really use some seeds, and maybe that's a mistake that Miguel didn't add an aggressive seeds workshop. If he had 2-3 mangonels pressuring down more TCs, pressuring those gold spots, it could be a bit better for them for sure. The max, well, we talked about gold positioning, and kind of looks tricky for him now. Getting a lot of raids here. Let's take a look. Riot, he has all the upgrades, something that we cannot say for release yet. Maybe this is the timing for BzK to finish it out.
Oh yeah, it looks quite heavy here for sure. The Arbalists are making the difference here, but also, oh, the Mangonel is taken down. This is absolutely beautiful. BzK, they're moving forward, and of course the Max is not fully able to engage here. The amount of camels is not enough. Viles are also moving back now. It seems that they are not giving up, but they're just residing on that part of the site. But doesn't look too good. BzK is moving forward step by step.
Funny thing, after all those losses, it's still 50 villager advantage here for the Finns. And it's just trying to get to some camels, and then they can take solid fights here. Melee, Arbalest, and Bracer is coming in as well. BzK, they need to continue doing the damage here. It cannot stop here.
Exactly, it cannot stop you. They must compensate the situation concerning the economy. Still, the Max has lost a decent portion. Migazin currently has more villagers than the Max. That's at least something. But Riot, 49 villagers. He must even go forward a bit more. Won't happen for now, though. Vilesa has a nice army of Arbalists, soon with chemistry.
They're even exiting corners now. BzK wants to start trading already. Kind of surprising to me seeing that while they have 53 and 99 villagers here. Miguel now up on the way to Imperial Age. But is retreating really an option for them? They're behind by 40 villagers. And as we said earlier, I think they might have the worst army composition if we see Im camels out, if we see harbors out.
Absolutely accurate there. So is retreating the right option? I say no. This shouldn't happen, but something else is happening. I think that Riot is actually debating Vilesa in a way that Vilesa is dealing with him, but Bigazin wants to go for some raids. Currently he tries to attack the Arbalist there though. Could have been quite interesting to see how BzK tries to go for Vilesa now, but currently not happening.
Catches quite a lot of Arbalest off guard, and well, Rio just moving in again. He has 2 more defense upgrades. Velise is trying to go back a bit more, and well, the castle for Velise means we could see Telocracy, and indeed more harbors now, and I want to see the special attack. Oh man, this could be so sweet.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing this one. We also see the War Galley upgrade for Riot. So that being said, water is about to be part of the mix. A lovely addition, this kind of map, just to make sure that something spicy is going to happen towards the end game. Let's see.
Yeah, demos could obviously be around against all those Arbalest. A single demo hit could be enough to kill a huge flock of army here. And well, we can see some more upgrades. So basically every single land unit is under heavy damage. Danger here.
Yeah, heavy demolition ship now being in the making for Riot. Megazin chooses to go for +4 upgrade as well as the Cavalier upgrade, as expected by the Franks. The Max could then have the advantage with his camels. We'll see, but curious to see about the heavy demolition ships from Riot, which seems to be happening at some point.
Okay, now the move in over here, and we indeed see it coming. Harbor attack is on the way for Vilise. They're still picking up some relics in the back here. Another move in population, still heavily in favor for the Finns. But the danger of the demos is very present now. More HP for the Portuguese, even cheaper for them, and 140 damage output.
Oh my god, man. Imagine if they just explode at some point of the game. This would be quite of a difference then. So many units could die right away. We'll find out.
Indeed. Well, it's kind of the calm before the storm. Paladin check for Miguel, and they just pray that Velise and the Max are overcommitting on the center. And for BzK, it's kind of Arabia, and they can attack everywhere. At the moment for the Finn, it feels a bit like Oasis, because going through the center, not really an option at the moment.
That's a decent comparison. Yeah, it's quite accurate. Arabia versus Oasis kind of philosophy taking place now. That's pretty much it. The Max is definitely having the ambitions to go from the right hand side, it seems. Riot is also going there as well as Miguel. So they want to meet up there and deal with the now Imperial camels of the Max, by the way. So this is of course a huge danger, especially for Miguel.
Oof. What an intense game number 5 here to finish it out. Both teams desperately need points if they somehow want to keep their dreams alive of getting into the top 2 in this ECL here, the 60k tournament. And it seems like we might see the big fight starting pretty soon. Trade is starting to be set up as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm really excited now. The Max is also getting Onager now, just in case he needs to utilize them against the Arbalists. Definitely could be extremely useful very soon. The Paladins are now inside as well as the Arbalists of Riot. Begazin and Riot both now about to enter the base of the Max, but we'll see how far they can go until there's an engagement. Currently, the Max and Vilesa, are they going to engage just now? We'll see.
Harvest, they're going back against the demos. Maybe we can even see some caravels. Surely we need to see some more water control in the long run here from Vilise, who kind of should be responsible for that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Water control definitely in favor for the Brazilians now. A lot of heavy demolition ships. Just one wrong move of the Finnish players, and everything could just blow up. But oh my God,
speaking
man!
of blow up.
Wow. Okay, that was hurtful.
Oh boy. Okay. And that was a good timing. And you're just casually saying, oh, maybe something could blow up. And then I'm casually switching over to it. Maybe there might be something happening. And well, it's full shot in there. And Rio
Oh my
needs to
god.
retreat and lick his wounds. And now Elise and the Max, they feel like they can move out and do some more damage here. Harbor's now on the menu though.
Oh yeah. Harvest on the menu. This could be quite of an interesting one, but for now, it seems that the Max is confident enough now that the change has been made with a huge loss for Riot, the Mangonel, the Onager shot. The Imperial Camels are engaging, a couple of more of the Onager shots, not a juicy one this time. But does it look good for the Finnish players? I think, yeah, especially because that many Arbors being involved. Oh yeah, a lot of Paladins going down eventually. But also the motion ships are arriving. Oh my god.
Oh god, that could be so big! And
Oh.
they are not really connecting so far. Okay, a solid one. But could have been so better if you just
Yeah.
deleted them a second earlier. Oh, and they were needed in the fight so much earlier as well. And what an epic game number 5 here. So great.
Man, this was about to be even crazier. But we'll see, maybe it'll happen. For now though, just checking out the map if everything is as expected, the trade is going on, everything's going on. It's just that Migazin now tries to keep the Finnish guys busy there, but Riot goes somewhere else with his Arbalist, by the way. Curious to see what is about to happen with that one.
Well, they're trying to push through the center and try to intercept some wall building and maybe the trade. Meanwhile, some push at the top here for the Max. And, well, population cannot really be kept up by BzK at the moment, but they have the positional advantage.
Yeah, that's for sure. Actually, a nice move there going into the middle of the trade now, just to pressure them to have an impact on that one. Could work, but also there are a lot of Imperial Camels off the Max now. Not a lot, especially considering the fact that there are a lot of Arbalists now of Riot. Curious how this is going to be dealt with, and that's that action-wise for now, I think, but we'll see.
Well, they're sending all their army over, but that's kind of late here. All the villagers will go down. Trade is somewhat stopped. Did we see deleted markets? No, not really. So more trade cuts will come around. But the Max, he's sending everything, meaning that Miguel will get some more room to breathe, though.
Exactly, some kind of vacuum could evolve from that one. Speaking of Miguel here, is currently preparing an army of halberdiers, by the way, to the east, in front of Max's base, in order to deal with the Imperial Camels. Okay, I understand. But other than that, also some water action finally happened from Vilesa, by the way. Galleons are part of the mix as well.
He could also go for some demos, though, against the Arbalest. But Mass Harbors just feels fine as well. Should build some more harbors in the center. And oh, look at that. Rio T is now taking to elite cannon galleons. And don't you love this map, man?
Some sick stuff that could happen, that has happened already. The Paladins are now flooding in once again, it seems, on the right hand side. But they're gonna face the army of the Max here, so of course together with the Halberdiers it could work, if done correctly, if the numbers of Halberdiers is adequate enough, but not yet, I believe.
Take a look, another engagement here at the top. Max heavily outnumbered, Halberdiers now helping out, which are pretty good against the Camels. Numbers looks, well, looking pretty similar for everyone. Riot, kind of water only and Arbalest only. Kind of want to see a different unit from him on land, right? Should he maybe sling the Frank a bit more?
Think about that one. I would even say yes, and why is that? Because the previous fight here that we've just seen between Miguel and the Max on the right hand side was quite successful for Miguel's zone. The Halberdiers were just enough to deal with the Camels. But speaking of the Camels, there's a new portion arriving, and imagining that we see both a lot of Paladins and Halberdiers together would deal with the Indians player quite decently. So I'd say it could be at least justifiable.
Yeah. And that's what I want to see. But Riot, if he just continues with mass water, the problem is he might just die at the left-hand side here. That's why we should see some stables from Miguel at the left-hand side, not really engaging there together with his Portuguese teammate.
That's true. On the left-hand side, Vilesa is preparing a lot of stuff, a lot of castles even. And you know what? These castles of the Malay are capable of doing, and currently producing Kermit Warriors, though not happening really because Vilessa is pop capped at this point. So maybe the Kermit's flood will not take place just now. Not sure.
The max only at pop 150. That's quite surprising to me. Did we just miss a big engagement over at the right hand side? Might have been. The max now even built some docks at the right hand side. Is going for another push, and it's really looking tricky for Miguel to defend this here. We now see Coinage from Rio wants to go for the sling that we wanted to see as well. And Miguel, some big aggression at the top though.
Question is if this the sling is going to be in time now. The max is in sight, and not just with any kind of unit, with Imperial Camels. And therefore, of course, how do you want to deal with this one for now? You need a lot of resources. Do you have these resources? Not yet. And that being said, looking quite grim for Miguelson at this point.
95 villagers only for him, 30 trade cards, that's quite solid, but losing that castle means a lot more raiding potential, and we all know how deadly the max can look if he gets onto Imperial Camels here in late im. Is getting pushed at his home base though. It feels just who slings a bit more might be winning this game at the moment.
Pretty much. On the right hand side, the flood of Migazin is also looking quite interesting. But I think that the Max and Villas is doing a greater job on the right hand side, having an impact on the trade cards. Now we see how the markets are being deleted, by the way, from Miguelson. So he's trying to shift the trade a little bit more to secure it. But the Imperial Camels, they don't care. They just move forward step by step. It looks more of a killing move, a lethal one from the Max and Villas, I believe, in comparison.
We also have some Imperial Camels in the center of the trade here. Only one market deleted so far, but yeah, indeed, Miguel is dropping down to pop 130, and it looks better and better for the Finns here, simply with the better civilizations and probably the better strategy to begin with. We still have some raids in the back here for Miguel as well. Can he hold this off?
Yeah, can he hold this off? That's the main question. That's the main question indeed, and really not sure about this one.
It is tricky for sure, and Abel now coming over kind of unprotected at the moment. More imp camels need to be sent over, only 3 around at the moment, so maybe Velise could lose all his Abeles, but no, Miguel is retreating. Trade is not going too well, Velise is pushing in as well. The Finns are all over the place, at least on land.
At least on land. Speaking of water, for instance, Riad is moving forward here, tries to get down these harbors of Vilesa. Not too many harbors left, still enough for Riad to deal with them for now. Don't know what kind of advantage he's going to get if he takes them down. Of course, then he could then move forward, but currently the BzK guys are busy with stabilizing their own trade and their overall situation.
Oh yeah, and well, just getting big raids in. Oh god, big doubt castle here in the back. Villagers all going down. Trade is getting blocked. There even more harbors. I love this move, and Rio hates it. They need to deal this one out. BzK winning the first 2 games, but Finland is coming back. What a great series.
Incredible stuff for sure. I mean, wow, 3-2 now after starting with a 2-0 situation. Really impressive. Great games. All in all games were super strong from each of the players. But the last 3, and especially this one, wow. Just wow.